Defense wins championships. Take a look at the Celtics over the last two seasons, from 06 to 07 to this year. They went from 24th in field goal defense to #1. How come? Tom Thibodeau has certainly helped. Strategy, effort, but of course it all comes down to Kevin Garnett. This guy is going to be the Defensive Player of the Year. Should be the MVP, but well, we'll save that argument for another time. Here's Greg Dickerson with his exclusive one-on-one interview with KG.
To be an NBA champ would mean everything. You know, when we get ready to go into a season, the one thing that motivates everybody in this sport is winning it all. It's nothing compares to that. When you're hitting weights, or you're running the beach, or you're sweating and it's hurting and it's burning, what gets you through that is that this is the sacrifice. This is what I gotta go through to get to where I want to be, and this is what I got to go through to be a champion, so you go through it.
So what is the intensity of Kevin Garnett like in the playoffs?
I think I've learned over the years on how to center myself a lot more, to be a lot more in control. I'm emotional, and no ends about it. And I let it show. It's on my sleeve, you recognize it. But a lot of that energy comes from the crowd and the moment, and I'm not afraid to let that out.
Paul was telling me the other day, he said, sometimes I have to tell KG, man, enjoy this.
Yeah.
Have fun. Have you had fun? Have you had a chance to kind of sit back and enjoy the run that you guys have been on this year?
I think I enjoyed it in pieces. And I think with Paul, he enjoys it a little more than I do. I just tend to lock in a little more. I don't know. I think that's the give and take part of it. You know what I mean? I think when relationships work is because one is like this and one is like this.
I was going to say, is it good for you to have somebody like a Paul, like a Sam, and vice versa? Good for them to have you around?
Because I'm a lot of people that I've befriended here, seeing how I prepare, and I don't change that up. I don't cater it. It is what it is, like it or hate it. Nights I do need Paul to, sort of grab me. He and Sam are the best probably at grabbing me and be like, hey man, relax, man, enjoy it, turn it off. We can be up 40 and I'm like, come on man, y'all gotta get on the floor. And that's how I think. The clock is still running, it's 48 minutes in the game and you have to play it all out, not to, go through it and mosey. And, I need those guys to tell me to relax sometimes, but, sometimes I need them to lock in a little more than what they are, so it works.
Is Sam the only one who can get away with some of the stuff he gets away with you?
Sam and Paul?
No, just Sam. Because I see, even Paul sometimes in the locker room, Paul stays away, but Sam, there's no barriers with you.
I'm going to tell you the difference. Paul, a lot of stuff Sam does, Paul wants to do. So when you see Sam does it, it's almost like a reassurance that he can do it. I've known Sam for a while. Obviously, we've been close friends for like 6 or 7 years. And Paul and I've been knowing for a long time in my life. And if I had any kind of brothers in the league, it would be those three along with Ty Lue and Chauncey. So imagine like having 3 brothers on a team that don't care how you take it, don't care if you get mad. They say what they say. If you got something that they want, they reach over and grab one, and they know the stuff that irks me and stuff, but that's our relationship. Sam gets away with a lot, I will say that.
It's an interesting dynamic with he and Rajon on the floor at the same time. Gives you guys something that you hadn't had before.
Well, it gives us options. In your life, you want plenty of options, and I always say when you're in the fight, man, you need different options. Whether you're going with an uppercut or a straight jab or the right cross, or even picking up something, having to hit somebody over the head with it. You want those
Remind
options.
me not to get in a fight with you?
You want options. It's all about winning. You know what it is. Advantage is everything.
What sticks out the most to you about playing playoff basketball?
Well, I have an analogy. It's almost like getting naked, taking a shower, stepping into a freezer. I wouldn't recommend it. But if you're trying to get an experience, you're trying to simulate, because you can't play basketball, you're not fortunate to be in a uniform and actually be in the playoffs, then go do that.
You know I'm going to do that now.
I hope not, but take a phone with you. Make sure someone sees you go in the freezer so they can open the freezer and let you out. But that experience is shocking like that. For you to get the chills and the hands on your neck stand up and you be out of control and to the point where your eyes water and you don't even know why your eyes are watering. It's just the emotion that's in the building and the energy. I would recommend you do that.
I'll take his word for it. I don't really need to do that.
I guarantee you Greg would try to do that.
Probably.
And he could take his phone, but we're probably going to leave him in there.
Yeah, no one's going to go get him. Doesn't matter.
I would advise people just to watch Kevin Garnett and the Celtics this first round of the playoffs to get the experience. And I kind of understand what he's saying. It shocks you. It's a feeling that you've never felt before, and I can attest to that. The playoffs is something like you've never been a part of in your life, and it really is a special experience. And KG, he understands, I think, already how special it is going to be for him and this team.
Well, it's special for us. Thank you for checking us out. We got the Celtics, we got the Hawks, game number 1 coming up here on Comcast Sportsnet. We take you behind enemy lines as Greg Dickerson talks with former Hawk, now TV analyst Steve Smith. It's time for the GMC Trucks playoff update. Here we go from the Eastern Conference. Cleveland defeated Washington 93-86. Orlando today 114-100 over Toronto. Dwight Howard had 25 points and 22 rebounds. Philadelphia, Detroit tied at 76 in the 4th. Detroit was up 15 late in the 3rd. We go to the Western Conference. Lakers 128-114 over Denver, no problem there. San Antonio double overtime yesterday, 117-115 as Duncan had 40. And New Orleans 104-92 over Dallas, 93-82 Utah over Houston. That is your GMC Trucks playoff update. Celtics pregame live is brought to you by GMC. We can't be sure how you'll use our trucks and SUVs, so we engineer all of them to the highest standard.
Most innovative.
I think the players know that Joe is an all-star in this league and what he's capable of. You know, it's a lot of people. It's the people that don't watch a lot of basketball that would know, Joe. But the guys around the league who play against him night in, night out throughout the course of the years know what Joe can do.
Some of you might not know that Joe Johnson also has playoff experience. Got it with the Suns. He and Mike Bibby, the only 2 members of this Atlanta Hawk team that have seen the postseason. For the Celtics, they have 8 players who have seen the postseason. For more on a very young and inexperienced Hawk playoff team, Greg Dickerson caught up with Steve Smith.
Guys, thanks so much. Steve, tell me why you think your Atlanta Hawks team matches up here with the Celtics.
Well, obviously, the people are going to look at the experience, the big 3. I think the biggest thing is, as far as those factors, no, we don't match up. But as far as guys that's going to play hard, I think it's going to be a team where both teams play very hard. I think our young guys feel, hey, we understand they're the Boston Celtics, but we got to come out here and play extremely hard. And that's the one thing they've been doing, and that's why they're in the playoffs.
Some of the comments down in Atlanta have surprised or opened some eyes up here about shocking the world, and we think we match up well with the Celtics. Do you like that take from this young basketball team?
Well, I mean, you can't take the road where you're not going to beat the Celtics. You got to come out here and feel like you're going to shock the world, because it is. It's 1-8. It's the best team in basketball when you look at the Celtics and their record. I think when you look at the situation where the Hawks, they got to come up here and say, hey, we got to give it a shot. We got to come here and try to get one, and things change if you can get one game up here in Boston.
How much has Mike Bibby meant to this offense, especially the last month or so since he's really been healthy and in a flow?
Well, he's been an extension of our coaching staff and also a guy who I think the biggest thing, he brought so much confidence and experience. You can tell down at the end of the games, not only him being able to make big shots, getting guys involved, putting guys in place, and then also another guy that Joe Johnson can say, hey, for a couple plays, I have a guy that I can trust with the ball and also trust taking a big shot.
Josh Smith is a guy that I think a lot of people around the country are starting to learn and understand, see that he's a pretty special player, but he's also an unusual player. That he's a guy who can block shots, can do some things inside, and also go outside and hit the 3.
Well, he is. I mean, when you look at his upside, you don't know what it could be, because here's a guy second in block shot in the league. He's in the top 15 in steals. He can shoot the basketball. He plays out of position at power forward. He defends pretty well. And then the biggest thing, he's only 22 years old, so he has a chance. if he keeps continuing to work, to be pretty special in this league.
For the Hawks to have any chance in this series, it's safe to say they have to get something out of their bench in this series?
Well, you do. I think the biggest thing is the bench. I think also you can't have turnovers. I think the biggest thing for them is if they can play pretty much turnover-free basketball, you're going to turn some over, but you can't have them over and over and get a chance to go rebound. I think that's the biggest thing because, KG cleans up the glass. They got to get on that glass.
Give me your breakdown of the point guard position, because you've got the veteran in Mike Bibby who's played playoff games against the guys who get the speed and quickness who's never played April and May basketball.
But that's what's scary. You know what you're going to get at Mike Bibby, a great point guard, steady, experienced, and then you got the X factor, is Rondo. Some people say, well, he doesn't match up against Bibby, but, you get a guy who's never been in a situation. It could go either way. He can come out and have the game of his life or the series of his life, or he can be a little bit, stoked by playoffs. I think that's the biggest thing is I like to know what guys going to do, and that's why it's hard to prepare for a guy like Rondo because he might take it to another level.
Steve, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Guys, go back to you in the studio.
He could shoot, man.
Shoot the lights out.
You better believe it. Now a TV analyst with the Hawks, Steve Smith. Let's talk about the age of the Hawks. They are the youngest team in the postseason, third youngest in the NBA, 24 years old. I mean, if they didn't have Mike Bibby,
yeah.
They'd be carted. To get in the Garden, for God's sake.
Yeah, and the comment that Steve Smith made about Rajon Rondo, that, you just don't know what young guys bring to the table. You'd like to know what they're going to do if you're the opponent. Same for the Celtics. They don't know what the Hawks are going to do. The Hawks, in my mind, when we're talking about which teams are going to make that 8th spot in the playoffs, I continue to say that, with a young team, they don't understand. They are going to say we're out to shock the world. They have nothing to lose. And I know Doc Rivers would say, well, you know what? We all have something to lose. We're going to go home. We're going to be upset. But right now, the Hawks are playing with no pressure. They're thinking if we can go out and get one win against these guys, we've done a great job.
We've talked a lot about Rajon Rondo. What about Perk? This is his first postseason, too.
Yeah, a lot of people forget about Perk, and Steve Smith just made the comment about KG cleaning the glass. A lot of times it's Kendrick Perkins cleaning that glass when you see KG spending more time on the perimeter shooting that jumper. So Kendrick Perkins, in my mind, is more of an X factor than I think Rondo is because, like we have kind of, he has been one of the guys we haven't talked about as much. Other teams probably won't be talking about him as much either.
Who is the one Hawk that worries you the most?
Joe Johnson, because I really think he causes matchup problems for Ray Allen. I think, Ray's going to need a lot of help from his teammates defensively to slow down Joe Johnson.
Did Ray think he would be playing as much defense when he came to Boston?
I don't think so, but it's worked out pretty well, I would say.
Mike Bibby, 51 playoff games on his resume. He is the veteran. He is the leader of this Hawk team. Donnie will have some final thoughts, including his thoughts on the point guard matchup. Today, coverage on our post-game show. We will have this game covered for you right after the final buzzer down at the TD Bank North Garden. Greg is really going to earn his money. Okay, Rondo Bibby, break that down.
I just think that, in my mind, the execution is going to be more important for Bibby to understand what Rondo is doing versus, Bibby on Rondo. If Rondo has players around him, Bibby doesn't have as many guys to count on. And one last thing, just to show the importance, 3 playoff series won by the Celtics in the last 15 years.
Yeah, this is biggie.
This is big.
we expect a lot from these guys. We do. Paul Pierce, the truth, getting ready for postseason action.
Seize!
Celtic fans had a realistic expectation of playing all the way into June. But that is the case now here in the city of Boston ever since KG, Kevin Garnett, arrived. The drive for 17 begins next. It's the Celtics and the Hawks.
Comcast Sportsnet's Drive for 17 Celtics playoff coverage is brought to you by GMC.
You all get ready to run out. You can hear it and you can feel it. You hit the tunnel and you come through the tunnel and it's like, boom. Wow. Get the chills and your heart rate goes up. It gets your blood going and the hands on your neck stand up and your eyes water and you don't even know why your eyes are watering. It's just the emotion that's in the building. It's just one of those environments that you want to be a part of. The level of intensity goes up in the playoffs. Loose balls, you got to dive on the ground. We got to buckle down and stop people. Making someone earn every point and make them work for everything. Everybody fighting to win. Either you're made for it or you're not. Make or break you. The fans seem like they're standing up the whole time. The whole building is in unison whenever they chant. It's something the fans been waiting for and to get that feeling back and to get the building rocking again. I'm gonna say this to the fans, man. Keep this mother rocking. I love the way you guys come in here and give it to us. Give me every ounce that you have and we're gonna give it right back to you. See you in the playoffs.
Citibank North Garden is sold out, and why not? The playoffs are about to begin here in the city of Boston. The Atlanta Hawks are in town, and they are getting set to take on the Boston Celtics. Hello again, everybody. I'm Mike Gorman, along with Tom Heinzen. Bob Cousy also joining us in the game tonight. Tommy, I want to start with you. This has been a team that has been on a mission since the beginning of the season, and the most important part is coming up right now.
Yeah, Kevin Garnett spread the religion to the rest of them in this day of the Pope. What he did is teach basketball religion, and they went on a mission, and he led the charge. What he did was change his game. He ended up being a super defensive player and also inside passer. So they have a very fluid offense when he's in there. The guy that changed his game most is Paul Pierce. Look at that. You never saw him take a charge in the past, blocking shots. So Pierce completely making it good. And watch this pass. His assist total up big time. And Ray Allen, the man with the big bombs, look at that. Inside passes and defense by Ray Allen on Kobe Bryant. Look at him hang on the shooting hand. He has done a masterful job at that two-guard spot defensively. So they're ready.
Celtics won 66 games over the course of the season, which made them a #1 seed, Kuz, which begs the question, how competitive can this series be?
Well, you know, Atlanta, excuse me, Michael, is young, they're physical, they're certainly hungry, they're talented. Of course it's going to be competitive. Can they upset the Celtics? No, I don't think so. In my judgment, frankly, there are few upsets in basketball as opposed to the other team sports, especially in a 7-game series. You know, it might have happened, they might not have shot at it when they played a 3-game opening series, but in 7, the cream always comes to the top. That's assuming, of course, both teams come to the table with the same intensity level. I'll tell you, I can't vouch for Atlanta, but I know damn well that the Celtics are going to come sky high.
Well, that guy on the screen right there, number 5, he has become the story. Kevin Garnett, he begins his playoff career as a Celtic tonight, and he says it's special.
When I put that jersey on, I'm fully understanding the significance, the privilege. The guys who's come before me, and I understand the history, and I don't take that lightly, whether we're in the playoffs, whether I'm in the grocery store buying milk or whatever it is I'm doing. There's a responsibility with that. When I represent something, I represent it with whole heart and loyalty and being proud of what I'm a part of.
Celtics basketball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by Foxwoods Resort Casino, located in the Mystic Country region of Southeast Connecticut. By Comcast, the only place you can watch Celtics on demand. By Dodge, it's a new day. By Supercuts, every time. By your New England Ford dealers who invite you to drive one. By TD Bank North, official bank of the Boston Celtics. By Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your certified auto service center. By Kia Motors. Kia, the power to surprise. And by Southwest Airlines, you are now more free to be productive. Visit southwest.com today.
What does the GMC Spring Collection mean to you? It means not sacrificing capability for fuel economy. Acadia, better highway fuel efficiency than any 8-passenger SUV. Sierra, the best available V8 fuel economy in a full-size pickup. And Yukon Hybrid, the first full-size hybrid SUV. The GMC Spring Collection.
The first-round playoff series to begin. They stretched it out till 8:30 here on a Sunday night, but at last the Boston Celtics are about to get in action in the 2007-2008 postseason. Let's join the Garden crowd now in meeting up with the Celtics starting 5.
from Clifton Olson High School, number 43, Kendrick Perkins. At one guard, 6'1" from Kentucky, number 9, Rajon Rondo. At the other guard, 6'5" from Connecticut, number 20, Ray Ellis. At one forward, 6'11" from Farragut Academy, number 5, KG Kevin Garnett. And at the other forward, 6'7" from Kansas, the captain and the truth, number 34, Paul Pierce. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the first Celtics coach in NBA history to be named Coach of the Month 3 times in the same season. The NBA's Eastern Conference Coach of the Month, head coach Doc Rivers.
Let's check out those Southwest Airlines starting lineups now. Again, no surprises for the Boston Celtics. It'll be Rondo, Perkins, Allen, Pierce, and Kevin Garnett for head coach Doc Rivers, 3 times Coach of the Month in the NBA. My vote for Coach of the Year, but the second season begins tonight, and Doc will tell you all that stuff. All those 66 wins don't mean anything right now. On the other side, for the young, tough, athletic Atlanta Hawks, can they be competitive in this series? That is the story. We'll find out early. Certainly the kid in the middle, Horford, has no fear. We've seen that in the past. He's joined by Williams and Smith along the front line. Bibby and ex-Celtic Joe Johnson are in the backcourt for head coach Mike Woodson, a beleaguered Mike Woodson down there in Atlanta, and we'll see whether or not he ends up as the head coach for this team next year. Let's check in for the first time tonight with our DCU sideline reporter. He's Greg Dickerson.
Mike, this morning Hawks players were talking to me about playing physical against the Celtics. Interesting that Mike Woodson was talking to me this afternoon about slowing things down. He said, you just can't expect to rip and run up and down the floor. He said, listen, we are a better team when we're a running team and pushing the basketball, but playoff basketball, you have to be more conservative. You have to control the tempo, especially on the road. But Mike, it really goes against what got this team here to the playoffs.
All right, let's check out tonight's Honeydew List. It's brought to you by Honeydew Donuts, who invites you to try their delicious new Mudslide Iced Coffee. What do you got, T?
Well, don't give the Hawks a psychological advantage. I mean, get them down and keep them down. Inside. Beat them inside. I mean, every which way. You got to rebound. You got to take the defense away from them inside, and you certainly got to beat them on the boards, and that's all inside.
That is our Honeydew List. Honeydew, enjoy the local flavor. All right, we are just about set to go. Kevin Garnett completing his pregame ritual. And you are now officially a part of it, Kuz.
I know, it was foggy enough in here with the fireworks. Kevin's shower of powder didn't help. Michael,
you've officially been rosin.
Yes. I think defense this year probably gives the Celtics more of a control factor in playoff competition. Great offense can occasionally be neutralized in the playoffs, but defense never does.
Just look at those are just great shots. I tell you, that fog in the building right now just gives a terrific effect here.
Like the old Madison Square Garden.
It is. I expect to see some guy in a felt hat with a cigar in his mouth. Inside to KG, first offensive trip for Boston. Garnett kicks it. Pierce fakes the 3. Kicks it off. Kevin, no. Rebound. Clearing out in there, but Bibby comes away with it.
Well, good movement of the ball that time. They got a clean look from a guy that's going to be open, I believe, most of the night.
Tommy, what do you think there about Greg's reporting that Mike Woodson says they may want to slow this game down?
Yeah, they want to control it as best they can. but they're not going to be able to take advantage of their athletic ability, and certainly a young team does not execute as well as a more experienced team.
Yeah, I agree, Tommy. I think a slowdown would work in the Celtics' favor. It would neutralize the transition game by Atlanta, and it would help in the offensive rebounding where Atlanta is very tough.
KG, one of his first two now. Atlanta did have 48 fast break points in the 3 games against the Celtics this year.
Well, a little pressure in the backcourt is going to take time off their clock, and that's going to hurt the Hawks' execution.
Williams misses his second shot. Ray Allen clears it.
Young teams get a little impatient in terms of taking the first shot that shows. This seems to be what we've seen the first couple of times down on the part of Atlanta.
Burke making his first move on Horford. Kicks it back out. KG steps into the shot. He's 1 of 3. Smith coast to coast. No. Rondo looking to run. Finds Pierce for 3.
Boy, he's been knocking down that trailer shot like it's a layup for the last month.
Yeah, that should open things up for Burke and Garnett as well if Paul can open up hot from the perimeter.
Johnson comes up shooting. Wow.
Well, I tell you, and Ray Allen got right through that pick and challenged the shot.
Yeah, that's the matchup the Celtics are a little concerned about.
Pierce is 2 for 2.
Boy, and the net didn't even wobble. It was so clean.
I'll tell you, he looks so confident launching that sucker.
Horford, top of the key. Looking for a backdoor cut of Bibby. Couldn't find him. Smith airmails one. Smith looks a little tight to open this game. Garnett wants to take Smith. Bibby comes on the double team. Ray Allen misses deep. Perk! The second effort, and he got fouled.
Good hustle by Perk. Weak side rebound. Very important against this team. Take a look at Perk. Left of your screen. Just great position. And then up fakes. Draws the whistle.
Well, I'll tell you, we said on top this is a young, physical, athletic team, but Perk didn't read the script, I guess. Heck of a job on that offensive board.
Early timeout taken here by the Atlanta Hawks. It's been 1,080 days since the last Celtic home playoff game. We're underway, 8-2 Boston.
Talking points, I guess, when you address the team about the Hawks. What are the things that quickly come to mind?
Transition defense is the #1 thing. Finding the three-point shooters in transition, offensive rebounds, and not turning the ball over.
It seems to me one of the other things maybe that this team needs to do is they need to try to get physical with you. How do you counteract that and yet not let it get out of hand?
Well, we just play. We don't care what teams do in that way. You know, teams have tried that, and they're going to continue to try that. We don't mind that. We don't mind physical play. What we can't allow a team to do is take us out of what we're doing. You know, if they're going to try to deny a catch, we have to get open. We must get open. So that's what we talk about.
Conversation I had with Doc Rivers about half hour before game time as he's looking forward to the first game of this playoff series. 8-2 Celtics off early in this one.
Yeah, and you can see the fire in their eyes, Mike. So evident. Paul Pierce has been counting the minutes till this playoff started.
Greg, what was going on in the timeout?
Mike, couple things. Doc saying, keep pushing that tempo because, you know, every time we push the tempo, we're getting easy baskets and feed the ball into the post. When we've done that the first few trips, we've gotten everything we've wanted. And also, you look at the rebounding differential early. It goes to the Celtics, something Mike Woodson was talking to his team about. He said he was happy in the 3 games during the regular season with their defense against the Celtics. He said they just killed us off the glass.
Williams sends it back out to Bibby. Garnett was doing a great job denying Bibby the ball off the inbounds pass, and Bibby with kind of a careless look at that pass that goes out of bounds.
Good pressure in the backcourt by 2 Celtics, Pierce and Rondo, helped create the turnover.
Yeah, exactly. The early pickup on the part of the Celtic defense has pushed the Atlanta offense out almost at half court to get started. That's why they're taking the first shot, and it's usually a perimeter shot instead of taking it to the basket at all.
Ray Allen wants to take Smith off the dribble. Rebound to Bibby. Second rebound for the Atlanta point guard. Nice little crossover move. Misses the shot, though, and Garnett's got it.
Yeah.
Well, they continue to take that quick shot. That'll work in the Celtics' favor.
Well, that's their game. That's what they were doing all season long.
Offensive foul is going to be called on Garnett.
Offensive foul on the Celtics, number 5, Kevin Garnett.
Well, that's a tough call for the big guy to pick up. He was chasing the high lob pass down. He wasn't intentionally pushing the guy out of the way.
Doc up immediately to defend his player. Rondo, the tough defense on Bibby makes him give it up. Horford steps out of bounds.
Good, strong defense by Perk that time. Gave no ground whatsoever.
Andre Miller came up with 20 points this afternoon, and Philly upsets Detroit in Game 1 in Detroit, 90-86 Philly.
A 1-0 lead in that series. It is. Garnett again.
Works Smith right down to where his range is almost bulletproof.
Foul in the lane as Williams takes it to the basket.
Here's Kevin down the other end working. See, the Celtics are under so much better control offensively. Their experience factor really is easy to see and establish. They're simply taking the shots that they're trying to create, as opposed to Atlanta, as I said a couple of times, taking that first shot that chose and under duress by the high pickup by the Celtic defense.
Marvin Williams about 15 a game through 80 games this season and 6 rebounds.
Good free throw shooting team, 77%.
Well, the Hawks are forcing the ball to either Pierce or Ray Allen in the backcourt when they inbound the ball, and keeping it away from Rondo as much as possible.
Pierce looking for his third three, and he got it.
Again!
Wow, boy, is he feeling it.
The net barely rippled.
Pierce with a good defensive play to tip it out of bounds.
Wonderful flow. Wow.
Watch this. Behind a Rondo pick, and they're all dropping to cut off the penetration.
Foul is on Perk. It's going to be his second.
Well, they're going to call him a little closer early on, especially the big guys in the paint. Perk is an extremely physical defender, so he's going to have to be careful.
That's one of the things that Perk will learn about the playoffs. This is his first go-around the playoffs, is let the officials get into the game, too. Don't be too physical too early.
Tonight's Celtic game brought to you by Legal Seafoods. Remember, if it isn't fresh, it isn't legal. Horford played very well against the Celtics this year, averaging nearly 16 a game in the 3 games against Boston. Only Kevin Durant scored more as a rookie against the Celtics, as we see Horford's season numbers. I think this kid actually was the rookie of the year in my mind. Has to be some premium on winning as well as Durant played in Seattle. They never won any games. Horford in a battle right now with Garnett. Defensive 3-second violation is called. And Ray Allen will shoot that tee. Let's take a look at the Subaru key matchup of this game, and this, in Doc Rivers' words, is the key matchup of this series. Bibby against Rondo. Season numbers right there. Bibby around 14 a game. Rondo the better shooter percentage-wise. Assists about even. Steals in favor of Rondo. KG working on Horford again. Help comes from Childress. Rondo. KG. Rondo the foul.
Third rebound of the evening for Rondo.
Tell you, Atlanta supposedly had an edge in offensive rebounding. So far, it's just been the reverse. The Celtics have established themselves on that offensive board.
Johnson trying to back his way down. The hook shot stays down.
Well, that's what the Hawks have got to do. They've got to start looking for opportunities in the paint instead of just launching from outside. They're certainly not going to beat the Celtics with the perimeter game.
Halfway through this first quarter, Ray Allen knocks down a 2.
Boy, and he just moved Joe Johnson down below the pick, and Joe Johnson couldn't get back to him.
Celtics with their largest lead. It's 11. Horford for 2.
Well, that's how he got his points in the last couple of games, is you're gambling off him and giving him that shot, and he's able to make them.
Rondo pulls up, knocks it down.
Yeah, right in Bibby's face.
Happy to see that first one go down for the young man. Bibby, nice penetration.
Garnett the loose ball. Looking for an outlet. Finds Ray Allen. Rondo again into the paint. Leans again.
Over Childress.
Rondo is 3 for 3 to open the game.
And take a look at the Celtic bench. They're wild.
And I'll tell you, he was looking for it. You don't see him searching out his opportunity very often. That time he did.
Welcome to the playoffs, Rajon Rondo. 6 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds in his first 7 minutes. There's been a technical foul called on Bibby.
Well, evidently he thought he was fouled on his last penetration.
Celtics fans, the Celtics are gearing up for the playoffs. You can too at Modell's Sporting Goods, your hometown sporting goods store. Modell's is the official sporting goods retailer of the Boston Celtics. Stop by Modell's today for the best selection of Celtics gear to gear up for the playoffs. You got to go to Moe's. 4:46 left to go here first quarter, and it's all Rondo so far.
Yeah, you don't see this young man. He's looking normally to create opportunities. That time, nice fake, steps into the pressure, makes a good offensive move. Then he's such a factor on that offensive board when he wants to be.
Well, you see, Leon just cleared Childress out of there, so Rondo had a clean look at the rebound. There is a terrific offensive rebound of Leon. That's what an offensive rebound is supposed to do, is go block the guy out like it's a defensive rebound and control an area. And Leon's a master at it.
KG, Doc, and Rondo having a little conversation right out in front of us as Ray Allen knocks the technical foul down. Boston opens up their largest lead of the game, 14.
Yeah, psychologically, I think it's a positive for the series to open it up this quickly and teach this young team, hopefully, a little humility. It should make the job easier in later games.
Blocking foul on Leon Poe.
Leon, watch Leon on this play. Oh, that's a charge.
Yeah, I think so too.
That was a charge.
Hit him right in the numbers. If you get the numbers square.
And he was backing up, too. Yep. So, I mean, he had full... Right? Turned around beautifully.
Smith tied up. Goes baseline. It's blocked by Poe. Bibby looks at the shot clock, lets it fly with 3 to go, and the rebound's taken down by Pierce.
Boy, that was a strong rebound by Pierce.
Inside Leon. Rejected down there.
Big defensive play.
Yeah, that's Smith.
And he goes coast
and that's
to coast.
Smith.
That is impressive.
That's what that kid can do. That's what they talk about, the athletic ability.
Hawks, though, continue to trail by 12. James Posey's coming in the game in a moment. Pierce finally misses one. That's taken down by Smith. Childress, some basket hanging. And he's going to get to the free throw line. The foul is going to be on Pierce.
Well, you're going to see a lot of that. and the shot is taken. The guy defending him just takes off. Look at this. Great block here by Smith as Leon never thought he'd be able to get to it. And then look at this. That's great athletic ability for a power forward to wheel and deal up the court like that.
Nobody has blocked more shots against the Celtics in the last 4 years than Smith. He's got 38 blocks coming into tonight's action.
Well, you don't take him seriously because he's a power forward, and he moves real fast, and he comes from the weak side, and he's always in an area where he can get up, and he's a quick leaper.
Well, if you ever wanted to see a pretty amazing display of the athleticism we talked about on the part of Atlanta, that one move by Smith did it on both ends of the floor.
Childress with some of the best numbers in the league for a player who hasn't started a game this year. Very short bench, though, that the Hawks have. Pachulia defending Garnett now. Kicks it to Pierce over to Posey. Pass a little behind Rondo, and he throws it off Bibby out of bounds.
Good alert play.
Sure was.
Boy, he is really alert all the time. Look at this. Oh.
Not only that, but it hurts.
Yeah.
Well, this is the old one play, Coach. Watch this. Look at that.
KG.
The old one play.
Wasn't that good? They're eternal.
All I want to tell you, Arnold is looking down from there. His old one play.
5 assists already in the game for Rondo. Johnson, offensive foul call, setting the screen on Pachulia.
Well, watch Pachulia just, way to go, Paul.
Yeah.
Childress deflects it out of bounds, and we're going to get ourselves a timeout. 2 minutes, 53 seconds left to go, first quarter. Celtics shooting 59%, and they lead 26-13.
Anything less than a championship a failure to you this year, despite all the success?
I'll tell you this, always has and always will be. It's only one winner and the horse to losers.
Points as the Celtics lead the Hawks right now 26-13. You know, I asked Kevin Garnett what it was like to be on the floor in this type of atmosphere in a playoff game. His best analogy, he said, listen, do this. If you want the same feeling, get buck naked, jump into an ice cold shower, and then immediately run out and jump into a freezer. He said that shock, that sensation that you feel when the freezer hits you, because that is exactly what it's like when you're on the floor of an NBA playoff game. Much more from Kevin Garnett. 20 minutes of a sit-down I did with him the other day. You can see much more of it on our website at ComcastSportsNet.com. Guys?
It's a great interview, Greg. It's a great subject, too. Celtics holding the Hawks right now to 33% shooting, and they got a 13-point lead with 2:53 to go here in the first 16 seconds on the shot clock here for Boston. It is Garnett, Poe, Pierce, Posey, and Rondo out there.
And conversely, they're creating much higher percentage offense as they come up with a steal off the Pierce has allowed them to shoot at almost 60%.
It was almost a handoff by Leon.
Rondo got stripped underneath and then lost it on the end line. It's going to come back to the Hawks here.
Well, we were saying last week, one of the possible weaknesses the C's had to be careful of was careless turnovers. And we've just seen a couple there as the Hawks trying to get back into the game. And in a playoff competition, minor mistakes, you know, stupid fouls, careless turnovers, missed free throws can come back to haunt you seriously.
7-2 run here by the Hawks to make this a 9-point game. Leon on Smith, and Smith made him change the shot, and the foul is going to go on Kevin Garnett, and that is going to be his second foul here in the first quarter.
Well, Leon tries to overpower Smith, and that's not what you want to do. There's a little up fake and got him momentarily. And
so P.J. Brown's going to come into the game, and Kevin Garnett will sit down with those 2 fouls. KG was 3 for 6, 6 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist.
Well, the Celtic bench has been productive against this team. In fact, the last outing against the Hawks, the Celtics bench won the game in the 4th quarter against their regulars. Now, they do not have a big bench that they have the ultimate confidence in. So if you keep the heat on them, I think that first unit's going to wear down.
Let's take a look at tonight's injury report brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield. Scott Pollard out for the Celtics. Speedy Claxton for the Hawks. A fairly short list. 26-19, 7-point game now. Under 2 minutes to go first quarter. Pierce got Williams on him. A clear aside for Pierce. He takes him to the rack. Had the shot blocked. Here comes Bibby. Numbers for the Hawks. Childress. Nice layup.
Well, they can run transition.
Yeah.
Pretty explosive. They'll get it back into the game. Good defensive play on the other end on Paul Pierce.
11-2 now the run for Atlanta. Sam Cassell's going to come into the game in a moment. Rondo takes it to Pachulia. Pachulia with the block and Pachulia with the foul. And that's going to be 2 on Zaza.
Well, I don't know how that one was a foul and the other one wasn't a foul that he drove on when he hit by 3 guys. But
Rondo will be at the free throw line for his first attempts of the night. The Celtics are 3 for 4 at the line.
Yeah, here's that transition a moment ago. Bibby on a quick push, waits till the last minute. You notice he doesn't force the wingman to put it to the floor. Give it to him at the last minute when all he's got to do is overpower the guard that's back. Nice job.
Well, one of the things is if Pierce goes in on the drive, there's got to be Posey's got to hang back and Rondo has to hang back. And then the 2 big guys have got to get back as fast as they possibly can. But as soon as Pierce drove, that left the backcourt naked, and that's how they ended up with the 2-on-1.
Smith trying to do something on Poe, and Leon strips him. It goes out of bounds.
Good hands. 11 seconds left.
Hawk ball.
Take a look at this. Leon moving his feet, staying right in front of him. And it looked like it could have gone off for Smith.
Sam Cassell into the game for Rajon Rondo. Smith misses. Sam misses the layup. Rondo, make that pull in there, battling, but Smith comes out of it, and Smith coast to coast, offensive foul. James Posey steps in.
Yeah, and P.J. Brown helped out on this one.
Posey does this so effectively. He anticipates with the quick feet, jumps in, gets the position, and then takes the hit. Not a lot of players in the NBA will take that hit, by the way.
So Smith goes to the bench with 2.
Well, now they are a smallish type team.
They sure are. Pierce in the paint. Kicks it back out, and a 3-second violation is called by Jim Klein.
Sea's offense got off in high gear, but they're definitely stagnated here in the last few minutes.
Well, they're trying to take it to the hoop now. And they're jamming their defense down and jamming the guy taking it to the hoop.
Atlanta, if you notice, is now attacking the basket. They were taking the quick perimeter the first 4 or 5 minutes.
Excellent hands by Leon Poe.
And that was a great defense by Leon. Watch this. Oh, boy, that Leon is moving his feet, getting right in front of anybody that tries to take it strong to the hoop.
Leon is out of the lineup. The Celtics are matching small for small here. They got Cassell, House, and Rondo all on the floor together with Pierce and Posey. Of course, they're doing this for the final possession of the quarter. That's why the shooters are there. Rondo takes it to Horford. Official says no.
Well, there's a good move by Rondo. Beats the man, and he picked the ball up. I don't know why. Let's see. He picked
There's
the ball
foul.
up.
Yeah, sure. That's continuation, I think.
Should have been.
Doc Rivers and Jim Clark. Jim, 64 years old, in his 20th season as an official. He was a basketball player at the University of Texas in his day. Rondo knocks down the free throw. Celtics open it back up to 7 with 2 seconds to go. Rondo, an 8-point first quarter. That 49% shooting for Rondo from the field is the best by any Celtic guard since the 95-96 season when Greg Minor shot 500. So.
Well, he seldom, if ever, takes a low percentage shot. He mentioned it earlier. He doesn't search it out. He takes what they give him. And as a result, he can shoot pretty well as one official goes down.
Celtics are going to get the ball back here, I think, with 2 seconds to go. That's the 6th turnover already for the Hawks. Eddie House comes back in for shooting purposes, and Leon Poe comes back out.
Well, they did a great job of forcing that ball out of bounds. They tried to hit Bibby, and they got all over Bibby, and they had a last instant they tried to put it down the sideline, and it ended up way out of bounds.
Pierce gets a pretty good look. We have played one. The playoffs at last are underway here in the city of Boston. Kevin Garnett as the Celtics in the playoffs. It's happening right now. 12 down, 36 to play. After 1 quarter, the Celtics have a 29-21 lead on the Hawks.
Rondo, and you're watching Comcast Sports Net.
2008 NBA playoffs are at last underway here in the city of Boston. The last 2 teams to begin their first-round playoff series were the Atlanta Hawks and the Boston Celtics, but we are ready to go. Some of the Red Sox coming over here. Mike Lowell, Dustin Pedroia in the middle, and of course, Big Pumpy. All turning out for the game here. The Red Sox played this afternoon, and their owner in attendance also. Celtics got Poe, Cassell, Posey, Pierce, and Brown on the floor as we look at tonight's quarter stats brought to you by aceticket.com. Boston's best seats. You want the best seats in Boston for all sports, concert, and theater events? Call aceticket.com at 1-800-MY-SEATS.
Atlanta right back into it, Michael. A quick Celtics surge in the first quarter, caught them by surprise, and they got that quick early lead. But Atlanta's back up to shooting at 44 from the field, and 8 points within the C's.
Well, Horford tried to bump T.J. Brown into the paint. Never happened.
He wouldn't move, would he? He was rock solid, wasn't he? Childress with the foul.
And that's one thing you got to do against this team is 5 guys got a defensive rebound. Don't worry about the fast break.
Yeah, that's 7th in the league in offensive rebounding, so they're real opportunists, and as we said, they're athletic.
That's going to be an offensive foul on Pierce, and now he has 2. That's going to get Ray Allen quickly back into the game.
That is his 2nd personal foul. For the Celtics,
well, Pierce hit those first 2 bombs, the 3-pointers, and theoretically that should open up his penetration game, but it hasn't really worked that way. He hit the perimeters, but he hasn't gotten much done in the slashing game.
Salim Stoudemire has checked into the game, number 20 for the Hawks. He'll be their point guard. He's out there with Horford, Childress, Johnson, and Williams. Again, pretty much a tweener lineup by the Hawks. Childress, too. Childress is a good player. He's got a strange game, but he's a good player.
Pretty smooth on that transition.
Yeah, he's got the size advantage on Ray Allen.
Atlanta bench has outscored Boston's bench 9-0. Leon Poe can't change that. Loose ball, Stoudemire's got it. And the Hawks have a chance to get to 2. And they do. Marvin Williams knocks down the jump shot.
Well, give Atlanta credit. We thought their youth got them in trouble early on against the Celtic pressure, but they've stabilized very well.
One thing they're going to do is they're not giving up. I tell you, Woodson's got them playing hard.
17-5 run by the Hawks here. Posey back rims it. Johnson. P.J. Brown just lets it go out of bounds. Let's check in with our DCU sideline reporter, Greg Dickerson.
Yeah, Doc telling his guys they just got sloppy there at the end of the first quarter. He said, listen, we gave up 8 points that we should not have given up. So I told you guys, you can't be giving up points like that in these kind of games. They were beating us up and down the floor. They were getting to loose balls. We were losing sight of our guys. He said 8 points like that is too much to give up in a game, and we gave it up in the first quarter.
Ray Allen at the 2-guard spot here. AG.
Yeah, he stops it. Reverses the momentum.
Tony Allen's going to check in the game here in a moment. Boston ball. Offensive foul.
Great play by Sam. As Childress was trying to post him up, as Childress was coming to the ball, Sam beat him to the spot and then exploded off Childress.
Tony Allen in for P.J. Brown. KG around Horford. Johnson comes away with the miss. Johnson in the lane. And that's going to be Boston ball as Johnson tipped it over the top.
I'll tell you, the Celtic offense has gone kind of stagnant in the one-on-one, Michael. Have you noticed? You know, it's like everybody for himself. All of a sudden, their strength on here has been searching out those three people.
Yeah, but they're working the matchups. And whichever they're trying to go inside. And they got Horford. They're trying to work against Horford underneath.
Cassell has his pass tipped away. Loose ball. Sam got it back, then got stripped.
Good defense by Atlanta.
Yes, absolutely.
Really alert.
From hands.
Celtics had 24 points in the first 7 minutes of this game. They've had 7 points in the last 8 minutes.
Well, when they went to the bench, the offense went stagnant.
Stoudemire has terrific range. Misses that one. Rebound tipped and controlled by Garnett. Gets it quickly to Ray Allen.
Garnett becoming an immediate factor here on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, they're cutting down the angles. Good defense here.
Ray Allen, tough shot. Tipped nicely in by Tony Allen.
Yeah.
Well
That's
done.
the way, Tony. Hang in there. Get something going.
Yeah, well done after off the bad shot by Allen, really.
Hawks are going to take a timeout. 8:14 left to go in the half. Hawks are right in this. 33-27, Boston by 6. Point game, 8:14 left to go in the first half. Celtics are on top. The Mass State Lottery is proud to sponsor the Celtics playoff run this year, and now's your chance to book a private corporate event during a Celtic playoff game. The Celtics will be offering unique packages that include high-end corporate nights, gourmet dinners and private function rooms, suite nights hosted by the Celtic legends, or a chance to play on the legendary parquet floor. Now work with any executive entertainment team to build your own unique playoff experience. Guests will not soon forget. For more info on booking your playoff event, visit Celtics.com or call 866-4-CELTIX to speak with a Celtics representative. Let's take a look now at a Wendy's. It's way better than fast food replay.
I'll tell you, the rebounding stats have stabilized. Both teams have 12, but 2 unexpected offensive boards there by Tony Allen in the early one by Rondo, responsible for the Celtic lead at this.
Hoop.
Cassell, Pierce, Garnett, Poe, Posey for Boston. KG. A little dream shake on the baseline. Doesn't go. Pierce with the offensive board on the weak side, and Cassell will use a little clock here. Atlanta down to 27% in the second half. Good look is right.
The second, the cutter's man was ready to help double on Garnett, and Garnett called for the ball for that very reason.
4th assist for Garnett in the game. Smith baseline jumper goes down.
He added that shot to his game last season. He's just still a young player, so he's going to be really great.
3 for 10 in the game tonight. Cassell gets to the bucket. Good block by Smith coming through, but the Celtics are there for the foul. Leon Poe.
Waste management right there again.
5 points in the game for Leon. That's 2 for 5 shooting. Second chance points. The Celtics now with 15. Johnson for 3.
Johnson for 3.
84-66. Celtics better than 50% from beyond the arc. Cassell helps that total. Well done. 8 of 14 now.
They're dropping below the pick for Sam. Sam will have that shot anytime he wants it.
The Atlanta defense has leveled off a bit. They don't quite have the intensity they had in the second quarter.
Yeah, they don't have much of a bench, so they played a lot of minutes in that first half.
Leon Poe with that foul.
Here's a KG play a moment ago. Watch, see, he lets the cutter go, holds it an extra second so the defender assumes he's not going to make the play to Posey. Nice job.
Yeah, but you see Childress look back. The previous time they ran that play, Childress stayed with the cutter and then went back for the double. And that's why Garnett wanted it back. That is one of those adjustments in the playoffs you must make during the course of a game. That's not timeout stuff. That's an adjustment in the course of the game that veteran players can call out and execute.
Six and a half to play. South's looking for KG again. Posey goes through again. Double comes from Childress. They swing it to Sam. Posey in the corner. Garnett the offensive board. Back to Posey. 3 fakes. And he'll get to the free throw line.
Nicely done. Garnett with the offensive board. Laid it down. Take a peek. Posey, Jay from the corner. Garnett comes over the top, and then again, he's always looking. It's so helpful when you're a big person, not only looks but can make the play. Garnett can do both.
8 different Celtics have an offensive rebound in this game. Posey knocks that down. Tonight's bonus code is brought to you by IdentityTruth.com. Early detection, your best protection against identity theft. IdentityTruth.com.
Well, it's interesting that in this ball game so far, Eddie House has really played the third point guard role, and Sam has played the second point guard role. And Sam has been effective.
Yeah, the combination of Rondo Cassell has done extremely well. They've complemented each other well.
25 points, 10 assists between the two of them. Pierce to Poe.
Yes. I think that gets the attention.
Don't hurt him! Don't hurt him!
Oh, that's great stuff. Great stuff. That's what builds chemistry. Look at this. Look at Garnett in his face.
Leon with the flush. KG with the support. 90-68 Boston.
Over halfway through this fourth quarter, 90-68, Celtics on top. Mohegan Sun Sports tonight on Comcast Sportsnet with Tangway is Tangway and Felder, well, he's Felder. Weeknights at 6:30 and 10. Check out the best guests and interviews as the top Boston sports stories of the day are debated. Mohegan Sun Sports tonight, weeknights at 6:30 and again at 10 only on Comcast Sportsnet. Here's that last bucket by Leon Poe.
Yeah, it's really something, and you're going to see some esprit de corps very evident. Watch this. Beautiful pass, and there's the power move over this time, Smith. And I think Smith got the foul, but look at Garnett. Now that started in room. Don't hurt him, guys. And watch this. And that's a little tap in the head and a little yell in the ear. Nice job, and Leon. Leon's going deaf.
That is great stuff. You can't manufacture that. That's from the heart. And as I said earlier, that's what builds the chemistry and the togetherness, the emotion that bonds teams at a time like this.
Leon Poe got 8 points now all in the fourth quarter, 91-68. Boston with their largest lead of the night. Bibby, strange kind of look in his face, almost like he's hurt. Bibby has got a problem with his left hand. The left thumb is the thumb that gave Bibby all those problems, and he seems to be favoring it and seems to be hurting him right now. Joe Smith, no. Tap, no. Another one. And foul. Let's watch Bibby, though. Bibby is going back towards the bench.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know how many players these guys are away from having a, one of the premier teams in the league, because they're relentless on that board. God, it is amazing how athletic and strong and they can be. So they need a little glue.
Bibby taking all that wrap off of his left thumb. That thing is pretty severely wrapped. He's not happy. 5 points, 1 assist in the game for Bibby. Let's check in with Greg.
Mike, Josh Smith, who just checked out of the ball game, raised some eyebrows last weekend when he reportedly said we would shock the world. He told me I was misquoted. I definitely didn't say that. What I said was, if we do what it takes night in and night out, we have to play a perfect game to shock the world. His world was shocked last night. Had an allergic reaction to something that he ate, and he said he spent all night last night itching like crazy. He said every part of his body, his knees, his elbow, his chest, his face, just 3 of 10 tonight. The culprit, guys, wings. He said, I asked for ranch dressing, but what I got, it definitely wasn't ranch dressing.
Traveling violation, that is.
I'll tell you, the man right in front of the play just waved it off, and the guy. Wow.
Horford gives it up to Pachulia. Under 5 minutes now to go in the game. Williams comes up short, loose ball. Horford comes up with it again and puts it down.
Well, they got 3 guys underneath the boards all the time, and if you come back with 5 guys rebounding against them, you will be able to really push the ball up the floor. But 3 guys cannot stand on a perimeter. Everybody's got to get back on the defensive board.
20 and 10, the numbers for Horford in his first playoff game. Paul Pierce on a late whistle will get to the line.
Cassell going out, having done a good job, as we've told you.
Yeah, they're going to give Eddie some minutes at the point guard spot. Rondo did an outstanding job.
Doc's going to get out of the way here tonight with short minutes. Rondo 28, Pierce 32, Garnett 33.
Well, this Atlanta team does not have a big bench. So their first 6 guys are going to play a lot of strenuous minutes. What's the minutes now for
41 for Johnson?
Yeah.
34 for Bibby, 38 for Horford, 33 for Childress off the bench. Smith a short night, 24. Good update by Greg there, probably is the reason why he only played 24 minutes. Ray Allen on the Boston bench, 34 minutes. Ray always seems to play the most minutes of the big three. Tonight's Celtic game brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. You're now free to be more productive. Visit southwest.com today. Dark little conversation with Steve Jarvie out in front of us. Steve Jarvie, probably the premier NBA official. KG back in. There's a look at Steve. Numbers for Pierce. What do you do, guys, if you're the Hawks? You got any other answers here? You go back to the drawing board?
In this game, you don't, you don't do anything. Obviously, it's over. But,
yeah. What do you do for game two?
Posey, wonderful. He's always denying outlets, so he's always in position to come up with that steal, and you don't expect a guy his size to have that kind of quickness. Well done. They're limited, as Tommy said. They don't have that kind of depth, but I still see them as a threat. I don't see it as a 4-0 situation at all.
Glenn Davis is going to see his first playoff action here in a moment. Glenn getting himself tied up, laced up, ready to go.
Well, here's Pierce putting his head down. Sees the alley, and that was the bang by Williams. Williams had been trying to force Pierce to his left. Pierce made that move to his left, and then Williams banged him.
Kevin Garnett, one down, bunch to go.
Well deserved standing O from the sellout crowd.
Hawks in the last 32 games this year had averaged 103 points per game as the chant of MVP goes on in the background for Kevin Garnett. The Hawks had averaged 103 points a game in their last 32 games. They've got 73 here with 3:26 to go. Shooting 37% for the game.
Well, we talked on top, about, especially in the playoffs, Michael, that the defensive skills can be relied on. They take you to the promised land. Offense is you can't be sure of it. It's not consistent enough, even if you're a great shooting team. But you can control the defensive factor. You can't control the offensive factor, and that's what the Celtics have shown tonight. Good consistency in their defensive game.
Well, there's so many matchups the Celtics can take advantage of, and one of the things that Woodson tried to do is swap off, and Rondo has caused a problem for Bibby, so they switched Bibby off to Ray Allen, and immediately the Celtics jumped all over that maneuver. And they tried different people on Garnett, and nobody was able to really do a number on Kevin. So, and Pierce has really been playing right within the system and has been very effective.
Glenn Davis, rebound Childress. Trying to go inside to Pachulia, and a foul is called, and that's going to get us a timeout. Just under 3 minutes to go in the first playoff game of this series, and the Celtics are very much in control, up by 21.
Kevin Garnett with some of his teammates. A job well done for the Celtics tonight, leading by 21. And we started this game talking about, the connection between the Hawks and the Celtics, and Mike Fratello and your influence with the Atlanta history, and with Doc Rivers, the Celtics coach. Another side to Mike Fratello we're going to take a look at right here.
Tom Gross and the Varsity, one of the promos
great,
from
huh?
way back then. Yeah, that was just really a great group together.
And anything to bring the team together, and I appreciate you getting that group together and having the team participate as well as yourself.
Think about what's gone on with that starting group. Dominic Wilkins now, member of the front office, actually here broadcasting a game back to Atlanta for the Hawks, okay, after a Hall of Fame career in the NBA. Doc Rivers, head coach of Boston. Randy Whitman, the head coach in Minnesota. Kevin Willis, okay, who played 21 years in the NBA. And then Tree Rollins, the other starter, who was the head coach this past season in the WNBA of the Washington Mystics. So a very special group of people.
And the Hawks, of course, this is just one game. That's what they'll tell each other, and that's what Mike Woodson will tell them. Despite the score, it's just 1-0. The Celtics will be in front of this best-of-7, and game 2, and another chance for the Hawks to try to steal one on the road.
And there's one other member of Doc's staff who played for us in Atlanta. That was R1G1.
Right.
Starting point guard there.
Poe. So the final minutes here, AC Law, rookie from Texas A&M, making his first appearance in this game in the final moments. Jeremy Richardson as well. And there you see there's R1G1 there. Field goal by Allen, Tony Allen. And the foul.
R1G1 started a lot of years under Hubie Brown when Hubie was the head coach in Atlanta at Princeton University. A terrific collegiate player, had an excellent, very, very solid, steady defender. Kind of ran the show for you, got you into your offense, and then I became head coach, and it was the stretch run for R1G1, changing of the guard. Doc Rivers came in and wound up taking over.
Hawks, we said their first playoff appearance since 1999. They beat the Pistons in the first round and then were swept by the Knicks in the next round. Under 2 minutes remaining in the game. Boston Celtics will take the 1-0 lead. The Detroit Pistons, who are the other big force. Cavaliers are still a factor, but everyone talks about the Pistons, and Poe now with 10 off the bench. And a very elated bench for the Celtics. Pistons losing game 1 to Philadelphia, and the crew will have all the first round playoff story for you as Jeremy Richardson hitting the jump shot. 101-77 with under a minute and a half remaining. Poe making a definite contribution. House hitting a 3. So Eddie House, who hit a lot of important three-pointers down the stretch late in the year. And there is AC Law laying it.
Don't forget to stick around for the New England Ford Dealers Celtics postgame live. Gary and Donnie will be back in the studio. Doc's press conference, player interviews, Tommy Award, all coming up on the New England Ford Dealers Celtics postgame live. Final minute here. Boston's going to take a 1-0 lead in this playoff series, winning easily here tonight. Tracked down by Law. I think that's Stoudemire, and then he dribbles it out of bounds. We'll be with you on Wednesday night as the playoffs continue here in Boston. Game number 2 between the Celtics and the Hawks. What will the Hawks do to try to regroup? Not sure what kind of answers they have. Boston dominating them here tonight. 37% shooting for Atlanta. Game 2 comes up Wednesday night.
Yeah, it's really not the time of the year when you can make major adjustments, Michael. You go out and you do what you've done best and what's gotten you to the playoffs all year long.
West drops in a shot. He'll have a chance for a three-point play here. With 4.6 seconds left. West is a terrific basketball story, this young man at the free throw line. Actually went to Georgia Tech, made the team as a walk-on, and finished as a senior as the team captain of Georgia Tech. It's tough to do for a walk-on. start the 2007-2008 playoff season on a successful note as they cruise over the Hawks 104-81, a 23-point Boston lead. Let's take a look at tonight's supercut of the game, brought to you by Supercuts every time. Leon Powe, you'll see a lot of this. Not only that dunk, but the reaction by Kevin Garnett as he comes over. I guess that's encouragement. I guess that's what that is. That's tonight's supercut of the game, brought to you by Supercuts every time.
That's bonding, Michael.
Tonight's player of the game is indeed KG. 16 points, 10 rebounds. Congratulations to the new dad. He is our New England Toyota dealer. Player of the game, Toyota quality. You can depend on it. Stay tuned for the New England Ford Dealers postgame live. We'll have all the postgame reaction highlights and the Tommy Award coming your way. Celtics very impressive in their win here tonight. 6 players in double figures. Ray Allen leads the way with 18, but great balance for Boston. 16 for Pierce, 16 for Garnett, 15 for Rondo to go with 9 assists and 6 rebounds. And as I said, 10 off the bench for both Poe and Cassell. Tom Heinsohn and Bob Cousy, Greg Dickerson, and Dick Life. I'm Mike Gorman. See you Wednesday.
Even though a big win, big lead, you guys are still cheering each other on.
I mean, it looks like it's all, peaches and cream. We do debate, and we do debate strongly, but at the same time, we know the common goal, and we all share that goal. And, me and Ray Allen had a debate tonight, but you know what? It was about this win tonight. We figured it out, and we was dapping it up on the sideline. That's what it's about right now.
You said peaches and cream?
Peaches and cream ain't always peaches and cream. You know that.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. We'll send it on you guys.
All right, so the Celtics trounce the Hawks 104-81. So for Mike Fratello, Cheryl Miller, and the rest of the crew, I'm Dick Stockton saying goodnight from Boston. Coming up next, it's Inside the NBA. You've been watching the NBA on TNT, exclusive home of the 2008 Western Conference Finals. And right now, let's send it to Ernie Johnson in our Atlanta studio. So long, everybody.
All right, thank you, Dick. So everything goes according to the script for the #1 seed in the East. That was not the case with the #2 seed, the Detroit Pistons. We'll have that story, all of the highlights of this Sunday in the NBA playoffs coming up on Inside the NBA, presented by Hyundai with these mugs next.
Now with mugs. Game for the Celtics that we didn't see in other games during the regular season with the Hawks is that the Celtics would get a lead, Hawks would get back in it, and they really wouldn't step on their throat, as Tommy Heinsohn would say. We saw that in the second half in this contest.
Yeah, and this game for the Hawks really surprised me. That they weren't as under control as I thought they would be. I thought Coach Mike Woodson would take Mike Bibby and say, listen, keep the guys under control. Don't have them doing things that they weren't used to doing. But you know what? The entire season was that way. These guys were just uncharacteristically the same. I mean, right. that is not what you want to do when you get to the playoffs, especially playing against a team like the Celtics.
All right, the key matchup in this game, and we talked about it, was Rajon Rondo and Mike Bibby. And listen, the young fellow was all over Bibby.
Yeah, Bibby, a lot of time out there, Gary, was standing there with his hands up. He wasn't shooting the ball great, but still, you have to find Bibby, for him to have 5 points in 34 minutes and 1 assist, that, in my mind, really shows me that his team does not understand the value of Mike Bibby in the playoffs. All
right, let's go to Mike and Tommy. They are down at the TD Bank North Garden, and we're going to talk about this game a little bit. You know something, Mike? No surprise here in the third quarter, Celtics came out, and as Tommy said, really stepped on the pedal, stepped on the Hawks, and wouldn't let them up.
Yeah, they wouldn't, and I don't really know where the Hawks turn here. I mean, obviously they will come up with something, but, the Celtics seem to have all the answers tonight. There aren't very many matchups that are in the Hawks' favor. As Tom pointed out during the game, they're not a very deep basketball team. They did play a strong second quarter, so I guess they can go back to the second quarter and try to see what they did right there. But it's a real challenge to the Hawks coaching staff to come up with adjustments. That's what the playoffs are about. They're about adjustments. I'm just not sure what adjustments the Hawks can make.
I tell you, one of the things I would think about doing is whoever is going out trying to close out the three-point shooter, I just have them take off and get up a cherry pick, they used to call it, and get as many of those.
I was very good at that.
Huh?
I was good at that.
You did?
I cherry picked.
I heard you picked apples, not cherries.
Mike, you have to give a lot to the Celtics bench, 36 points. I mean, guys really came through. It seems like they continued to do a lot of what we saw them do all season long.
Yeah, I mean, again, the Celtics, it's going to be a situation here, Tom, and I know you love this. It's going to be a situation where the Celtics are going to force their will on other people. They're not really going to make many adjustments.
Well, I think they've got enough versatility right now, and their defense accords them that versatility on the offense. But what Doc did with that bench towards the tail end is going to be very productive in the playoffs, I believe. Leon was very anxious in the beginning when he first got in, but after a while he leveled off, and you're going to see his solid game from here on in. And I think Sam Cassell is going to make a solid contribution, as well as Posey. So we've got 8 players that are really going to help big time.
All right, guys, thank you very much. We'll see you later on with the Tommy Award. That is Mike and Tommy down at the TD Bank North Garden. When you take a look at the bench, all of the talk going into the playoffs was, what was Doc going to do, with the bench? And really, I mean, Big Baby didn't play until the end of the game, and Sam played ahead of, Eddie House, but it wasn't as if the bench was that much shorter.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to who you're playing against, what matchups look the best for you, because tonight, we thought maybe Sam Cassell will be the first guy off the bench, or you think like Big Baby's going to come off the bench before P.J. Brown. I think Doc right now is going to go with this security system. Whoever he feels the most safe with, putting guys on the floor, depending on how the other team is playing. Again, he's not going to make the adjustment because of what the other team is doing, but really a comfort level, and I think that's what we saw. Not a lot of minutes for Tony Allen, not a lot of minutes for Eddie House, but nonetheless, when these guys get in the game, they still do a solid job. Eddie House, 3 points. Tony Allen, we saw his energy, an offensive rebound with a putback. So those are the things I think we look forward to. And again, depends on who they're playing and again, Doc's comfort level.
All right, let's check out the New England Ford Dealer's Tough Play of the Game. Drive one at your New England Ford dealer, and it is Kendrick Perkins, who had a very productive third quarter. Perk not doing much of the first half, but always tough down low. Kendrick Perkins, the New England Ford Dealer Tough Play of the Game. Drive one at your New England Ford dealer. Also, Rajon Rondo has been asking a lot of questions. You talk to the veterans like Ray Allen or Paul Pierce and about the playoffs, and they would always say, Rajon's been asking a ton of questions, and I'm sure this kid just couldn't wait to get his first playoff game over with, and he was awesome. It
was interesting. When I did that, the second to last game in New York, I had a chance to sit down with Rajon before the game for about 20 minutes, and he was asking me. He's like, you were with the Nets for a couple years. What is the playoffs? What's the atmosphere like? How does it feel? I said, listen, there's going to be celebrities. I said the intensity level is going to go up. I mean, wait till you see how KG reacts. And absolutely, he took his game to that next level with Rajon Rondo tonight. Great job, Gary. 15 points, 9 assists. 6 rebounds.
Yeah, and he does everything, Donnie. I mean, here's a guy where people were concerned about him. Is he going to be able to shoot? He does so many things well, including shoot the basketball.
Gary, usually when you talk about having a goose egg, again, a negative connotation. Tonight, Rajon Rondo, a goose egg when you talk about turnovers. 0 turnovers. The most impressive stat in my mind for a guy who, making plays like that, I mean, staying aggressive. When you see young guys, their first opportunity to play in the playoffs, and they're playing under pressure, really a lot of pressure, not because he's a point guard of the best team in the NBA or the team with the best record, or you're playing for a coach in Doc Rivers who has been to the playoffs, or you're playing with guys like Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and KG. I mean, that is a lot of pressure for a guy to come out and do what he did tonight.
When you play with a guy like Kevin Garnett, you have to wonder, okay, when he's yelling at you. Did I just do a good thing? I mean, if you're Doc, you want to say to KG, save my players. He went over and gave the chest bump to Rajon Rondo after that highlight you just saw. Yep. I thought he was going to knock him over. And when Leon Poe made that monster dunk, he was in his ear like a drill sergeant.
Yeah, I think he's yelling to them, not necessarily yelling at them. And I think they get the message.
There's a difference.
If I'm walking, I want to laugh. Like, I thought at one time, Leon Poe wanted to be like, okay, I got to keep this mean look on my face because I want KG to understand I'm intense also. But everyone doesn't work the same way. Well, KG's getting guys to work the same way he works, and that's being intense the entire game.
My opinion of Kevin Garnett is he comes in and does what he needs to do to maintain the lead. He was obviously jacked up for this contest. But, Donnie, whenever the Hawks would get back in it, you put KG back in, makes a hoop, grabs a rebound, and basically holds off any momentum.
I just like the fact that KG, 8 for 19. I love to see him shooting the ball 19 times. During the season, he averaged right at 14 attempts a game. 19 is great because you see he's aggressive. They're looking for him. They're going to him. The doc is calling his number. 16 and 10. Great outing for KG in 34 minutes. Right there over the right shoulder. Really showing us everything. Little, turnaround jumpers over the left shoulder, right shoulder, jump hooks. Love the way that KG started this first game of the playoffs.
You see so many stars in the NBA today. When they come in the game, it is about them. They want the ball. They need to score to get their team going. Just his mere presence on the floor gets the team going.
Yeah, and Doc Rivers would argue with him during the season on occasion of, we want you to be selfish, be more selfish, and he's finding ways to be selfish, not necessarily shooting the ball every time he touches it, but like you said, his presence on that floor really gives this team that sense of confidence, even if he's been out of the game for about 3-4 minutes.
What we saw was balance from this team. You had 6 players in double figures, including Paul Pierce, who had 16 points. He was strong in the first quarter. He joins Kevin Garnett at the podium.
Side after you guys checked out, and you were saying something to them. I was just wondering what that was. It was like a hug.
I don't even recall what you're talking about. Well, like I did P. P came out the game, and I just asked him their opinion of our play and things that we can get better at and we want to clean up. And then went to Sam and Ray and asked them the same thing. Nothing too detailed.
Mark Spears, Boston
Anytime.
Globe. Kevin, I just want to see if you could.
No one's giving me anything. No one's giving me a go yet.
And defense in the third quarter, especially.
I thought first quarter or the first half, like Paul said, we was coming in, selling in first playoff game, knocking cobwebs off our bodies or whatever you want to call it. Selling in, I thought we settled in a lot better second half as far as what we was doing defensively. Really had like a rhythm defensively, if that's even possible. Turned up the heat a little bit and really played our style of basketball and did what we wanted to do on the defensive end. Contested shots, boxed out, controlled the boards. I think if you limit this team to easy buckets and you can rebound and control the boards, I think you have a good chance of beating this team.
Well, I think the main problem for us in the first half was controlling the drives to the middle. Coach said at halftime we wanted to keep them out the paint. They're just driving, getting to the line, finding guys. And I thought once we clogged up the middle, I thought Devin did a good job in the second half communicating, getting the guys where they need to be so they just couldn't get points in the paint. And if we could, and we stressed on keeping them out of transition, and we felt like if we could put them against our half-court defense, that it would be a long night for them, and that's what we was able to do. Defense settled in the second half, and we got into a rhythm where we was getting consecutive stops.
Pete Stringer, Celtics.com. Guys, can you just talk about Rondo and how composed he was out there in his first playoff game?
Still played well, man. Played with a lot of confidence. Before the series, I think the three of us sort of put him off to the side ourselves and just gave him some advice. Thought he was very poised. I think the second half of the season he's been a lot more acceptance of his role, a lot more of a general, and ever since in the word of a leader, he's been leading by example. And I don't know what it is that clicked, but he's been playing tremendous. You can see the maturity over the process of a season. Tonight he took his shots. He had a lot of confidence. Got us in sets. He knew every last set that they called out. And we are as good as our point guard and our leader. And that's the role he's taking.
Nate Long, Comcast Sportsnet. Can you guys describe the difference between regular season atmosphere that you had this year and then the playoff atmosphere?
I think just in the playoffs, the guys realize there's more at stake. Not that we don't realize it during the regular season. I think the sense of urgency goes up, the sense of not wanting to go home. A lot of things you start thinking about once the playoffs come. Regular season, you have your ups and downs. In the playoffs, you can't have any downs. And our mindset is take it one game at a time, pretty much take that day for what it is and move on to the next. I think our intensity is at a high level. I mean, you can feel the energy in the building, the crowd. You can see in our first half play, we just trying to brush off some cobwebs and just get settled into the playoffs. But hey, we're here and the guys are ready to go.
Kim, you talk about getting those quick fouls and I held you down in the first half.
No, fouls are, you try to play through them. Tibbs kept telling us to be aggressive, and I mean, you have to pick and choose certain times when to do that. But I wanted the effort to be there. I wanted guys to feed off me. So, in a situation like that does happen, but it didn't change the way I approached the game. And then, I thought when I came back in, I was just as aggressive, just a little bit smarter in coverages and stuff like that. But I don't think it affected me. I still was trying to be relentless and, share the ball, but at the same time, be a force and initiate a lot of things, and I thought I did that for the most part.
Kevin, can you talk about the beating you gave Leon after he dunked the ball and got fouled there?
Leon's like a grown-ass man, yo. So the little hits that I was hitting him with, he didn't even feel that. Those are like high fives to him, just so happened to be on his chest. Did he feel that ball? You think he felt those slaps in the chest that I was giving him? Yeah, he went. Not at all. See? Any more questions?
Scott Souza, Metro West Daily News. Is there any way with the physical play and defensive intensity and drawing away in this game tonight, can you send a message to a team and really get in their heads at all with a convincing win like you had tonight?
I don't know. It's hard. I remember last time we were in the playoffs, we won game one the same kind of way, and we wound up losing the series. So we take game one for what it's worth, and you got to understand the team, Atlanta, they're going to make adjustments. They got 3 days until the next game. They're going to make adjustments, which means we're going to have to make some adjustments to some things we have to do. And, you can't look at game one as the indicator because a series can get turned around if you get overconfident and don't do the necessary things you need to do to win 4 games. So we're not overconfident. It's a good win. We take it for what it's worth, but we don't think we played our best basketball tonight.
Not at all.
Howard Holman,
23 points. What kind of adjustments can Atlanta make?
Well, Josh Smith can get involved. I mean, shooting jump shots is not his thing. You don't want him shooting three-pointers. You want to get up and down a little more. You can really see tonight the liability these guys have or deficiencies the Hawks have when they're running their offense. If they're not running fast breaks, it's hard for them to get themselves going. The half court is so important in the playoffs, and if you can't keep Mike Bibby involved, you can't keep your stud like Josh Smith involved, you're going to struggle. They need all of their top six guys on this team average double figures for the Hawks. If you can't get all 6 of those guys in double figures at least to their averages, you just don't have a chance against the Celtics.
And again, the Atlanta Hawks, the youngest team in the playoffs, averaging 24 years a player. With the exception, of course, Mike Bibby, the grand old man of that club. Celtics win it tonight, 104-81 over Atlanta. Great game by the C's. Greg Dickerson will talk to Paul Pierce coming up. Brought to you by your New England Ford dealer. And this spring, your New England Ford dealer invites you to drive one.
But in transition, offensively, we can be better.
Mark Spears, Boston Globe. Doc, just talk about the defense, especially the way you guys picked it up in the third quarter.
Yeah, we were not happy at halftime. We didn't close out the first quarter, and we didn't close out the second quarter, and that allowed them to stay in the game. When you have a chance to put a team away in a game, you got to do it, especially in the playoffs. We didn't do it, and we made a concerted effort. We talked about it. Coming out the beginning of the third to make a great push, and we did that.
Doc, Mike Salk, ESPN Radio in Boston. Just a question about your rotation. We had talked about this a couple weeks, months ago in terms of the old basketball adages. It's got to be 8. You said maybe it would be 9. Today it was 10, even in the first quarter. Is that a testament to the depth of the team, or just
foul trouble? It's more of that. Foul trouble lead. You can stretch your rotation a little bit when you have a lead and when you're in foul trouble. Kevin had to the third foul, the second early, then Paul too. So we had to stretch it a little bit more, honestly, than we really wanted to. The good news is when Kevin went out, we actually stretched the lead a little bit. And that's good, but that's nothing we can lean on.
Stephen Alford, Black Athlete Sports Network. Celtics came out with a lot of energy. Were able to establish a 23-10 lead, and then Atlanta was able to close that, get to within 4 points in the second quarter. Is there anything that you had told them while Atlanta was closing that gap?
Go to the post, offensively, I thought we got jump shot crazy. We got the lead by making threes early, but, that's fool's gold, and I thought we fell for it. We started looking for shots, looking for jump shots, taking quick shots instead of doing what we do. At halftime, we were 13 for 15 when we went to the post, and we don't count made shots. We count good shots. Either a good shot or a made shot is what we counted. 13 for 15, if that doesn't tell you that's where you need to go. Kevin usually is not the guy who takes the shot when you throw it down there, or Paul. Someone else does, but it's a wide open good shot, and that's the way we want to play. I just thought we fell in love with the jumper early in the game, and I thought it came back to haunt us in that stretch.
Scott Souza, Metro West, maybe a little follow-up on that, but Ray really got going there in the third quarter. Was that a benefit of the inside and then back outside to get him better shots because he had a kind of a rough start?
No, honestly, I didn't think Paul had it going, and it was concerted effort. We ran this play, the first time we'd actually run it this year for Ray. We've been talking about it, and I went with it. They switched Bibby on Ray, and I thought if we could run pick and rolls, if Ray comes off with his size, he can get the shot off. And it worked. So, if you give Ray a look, chances are he's gonna make it. And we we have the feed the pig mentality. If it works, you run it again, and we did. So it was good to get him going, though. I didn't think it was anything that Ray was doing in the first half. Honestly, I thought it was us. He didn't get good shots, good rhythm shots. He got a couple of ball swings where he was open on the three. He usually makes those, but I made a concerted effort. I just thought we were not getting him shots in rhythm, and we have to do a better job with that. So that was more on us than him.
Coach Nate Long, Comcast Sportsnet. Could you just describe the atmosphere in the building?
Oh, it's phenomenal. It's funny. It's rare when you can hear the fans in the locker room when your team runs out, but you actually could today. And I was back, in the bathroom, combing my hair. But yeah, they were fantastic. They were really good. And that's great for our guys. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Doc Rivers, now what does Doc need to work on with this team? He talked about some transition defense and so forth, but when you go out and you bury a team like this, is it tough for coaches to come up with stuff?
I don't think so, because you're trying to be perfect, and in your goal to try to be perfect, you're probably never going to get there, but you can get as close as possible. And the way you do that is you get Ray Allen better shots, you get him easier looks. Paul Pierce, 4 for 10, you get him some better looks, maybe down on the post, coming off of some screens. And then, like he talked about, the transition defense, you have to put the emphasis on really getting back, finding a man, even if it's not yours, defensively, pointing to a guy and saying, I got him, you know what, you get my guy coming down, and then continue to take care of the basketball. Only 10 turnovers for this team. That's 4 or 5 below the averages for the season.
All right, let's get back to the TD Bank North Garden. Greg Dickerson with Paul Pierce.
Gary, thanks so much. Paul, first game down. You're looking for 16 wins to win an NBA championship. Your thoughts on this win?
Well, it was a good opening night. Come out game one, got the jitters out first half. I think the offense settled down, started making extra passes, and we was able to get rolling there in the second half.
You've been all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals before, but describe your emotions as you stepped on the floor tonight. This building was about as loud as it has been in a number of years.
Well, when the playoffs come, it's like a fresh start. You've been through the rigorous grinds of NBA season, 82 games, and now it's like the playoffs. It's like the beginning of a new season. So you feel refreshed, we're healthy, and we're ready to go and move on in round number 1.
Rajon Rondo was saying before the game that he wasn't nervous, even though this was his first playoff game. He sure didn't look nervous out there.
No, he didn't. He's growing. It's good to get him some experience, playoff experience finally. You know, he's playing like a true veteran. You wouldn't be able to tell he's in his second year, but it was a great start for Rondo's first playoff game.
It might be strange to ask this, but with a 23-point win, what do you think you can do better in Game 2? What do you have to do better as the series goes along?
Well, a lot of little things. We got to get off the better start, stop their easy drives and offensive rebounds. So they're going to look at that tonight and tomorrow before Game 2 and try to clean up some things. And we got to be ready to take their best.
Yeah, I saw Kevin grab you during that last time out and said some things in your ear. Take me to that conversation. What did he say to you? Or can you tell me what he said to you?
He talked so much during the game, I really can't remember.
So you've just tuned him out all of a sudden.
I mean, you know, just good win. It's just one game. We got 4 games to win in a 7-game series, and this was one good start.
Is that what you do to me? You just don't listen to me? You just tune me out too?
What you say?
Thank you. That's whoever that guy is. Somebody scored a lot of points for the Celtics. I don't know. It's not Kevin Garnett. It's Ray Allen. It's somebody. I know the guys I'm sending it back to. Gary, Don, let's go back to you guys.
All right, Greg, thanks a lot. The Celtics were up by 14 in the first half, and then Atlanta got back into it. They were within 2 in a sloppy second quarter for the Celts. Back up at 9 at the half. Third quarter, boom, Celts lower the hammer. What was the key?
Well, the key was keeping Atlanta off the offensive glass. 16 offensive rebounds tonight. You know, a team that is young and they really don't understand what it's like to be in the playoffs. You cannot give them the extra opportunities. They did a great job, the Celtics, at halftime of going in and saying, you know what, these are the things we have to clean up. 24-15 in the third quarter. And really, you know, holding the Hawks to 15 points, that was the least when you talk about per quarter. And, you know, getting easier buckets. I mean, really just trying to outwork them. And there hasn't been a lot of games this season, Gary. Let's face it, that the Celtics have been outworked. But when you get a hand in the passing lane like that, you have Rondo looking for guys, and then Ray Allen in his comfort zone, Gary, catching and shooting. Yes, Ray can get himself 2-3 dribbles into the paint, but if you're Doc Rivers and this coaching staff and this entire team, you want to make the game as easy as possible for your scorers. That means getting Ray Allen the basketball in transition behind that three-point arc and just letting him do his thing.
And we've talked about this during the regular season. As Rajon Rondo became more comfortable with his teammates, we've noticed that he puts the ball right where Ray wants it.
Yeah, and he understands that, you know, Ray is a better player for this team when he doesn't have to do as much. Not saying he can't do a lot for this team, but when he has to dribble into his own shot 5, 6, 7 times or probe on that baseline, he's just not at his best. That's where Rajon Rondo comes in and says, you know what, I'm going to give you the ball in the numbers. You just run the floor, and I'm going to find you.
Catch and shoot for Ray Allen. He was red hot in the third quarter. Atlanta's got some players, including Josh Smith, can block a shot or two, but it wasn't enough tonight as the Celtics win at 104-81 over the Hawks. Still to come, the Tommy Award. Could you use some sun? With shops, restaurants, bars, and shows, a spa, and even a golf course. He blows my mind. I mean, you'd think that, like, Leon had done something wrong. He's just unbelievable, and Kevin Garnett. And that was, what a jam by Leon Poe. And we're starting to see some things from Leon outside of his usual game here.
Yeah, he's getting comfortable. I mean, it takes players a certain amount of time, and it also takes their teammates and also the coaches to really give them, to validate them. And I think Leon Poe has found that validation in all of the above, really letting him, you know, giving him the ability to go out and play his game and play the game that we haven't seen a lot from him. He's free. It seems like he's just playing with no pressure. He's not looking over his shoulders, just playing great basketball the way that they expected him to play coming out of college last year.
Sam Cassell always plays free. And in the third quarter, he was instrumental in helping the Celtics get an even greater lead. They had a 13-4 run. Sam had 7 of that 13. Donnie, this guy is going to be very important during the postseason.
You know, Gary, the word that comes to mind is efficient. I mean, he was 3 for 6 in only 16 minutes, had 10 points, 2 for 2 from the foul line, 2 for 2 from three-point range. That's what you want from a guy like Sam Cassell off the bench. You know that, you know, he's going to give you that. And the fact that if you leave him out there another 10 minutes, he'd probably continue to play well. Didn't need that tonight. I guarantee he's going to come up with some huge, huge games. Maybe not in the first round, but in these playoffs, guarantee you Sam Cassell is going to come up very, very big.
The numbers might not always show it, but the timing will be impeccable. When you need that shot, when you need that dagger, I think Sam Cassell is going to be there. Mike Bibby wasn't there for the Atlanta Hawks tonight. It is safe to say this could be the worst playoff game Mike Bibby's ever played, because the numbers say this guy's never had anything below 2 assists. He had 1 tonight.
You know, and as much as I would want to sit here, Gary, and say Rondo did a fantastic job on him, and yes, Rondo did a good job, I think more on the offensive end, but his team, Bibby's team, did not look for him. I mean, he was 2 for 10. Okay, he didn't shoot the ball well, but with 5 points, and you mentioned it, 1 assist, 2 turnovers. I mean, these are not Mike Bibby numbers. I just think his team did a poor job of continuing to look for him. I thought that Coach Woodson, and I love Mike Woodson, he's a fantastic guy and a solid coach because he's done a great job getting his team to the playoffs. Just don't think he utilized Mike Bibby the way he needed him to really set the tone in this first game. Not saying that if Bibby went off, they would have won this game, but you have to find a way to utilize Mike Bibby a little bit better and let your team know, you know, at any point in that game, Coach Woodson should have said, you know what, let me introduce you to someone. Mike Bibby. He averages 18 points a game in the playoffs, almost 6 assists. Look up at that scoreboard. This is your point guard, and that's what you have to do, and I think that will be the adjustment for the Hawks in the next game.
Speaking of Mike Bibby, here he is with Greg Dickerson, our TD Bank North post-game interview.
Mike, what positives, if any, can you take out of this loss tonight?
You know, we won on the boards. The main thing is, like I said, I didn't do anything to help the team tonight in the show. You know, we lost by 20, and, you know, I didn't make things easier for the rest of the guys. And I got to do that. I got to be more aggressive.
Besides being aggressive, what else in your eyes didn't you do that you need to change for Game 2 Wednesday night?
That's it. Just be more aggressive, you know, just make things easier for myself and for my teammates. I didn't get in the paint. I didn't put pressure on the defense. I was too passive, I think.
Your thoughts on Rajon Rondo tonight playing in his first playoff game?
He played good. You know, there's a lot left. You know, we wanted him to try to see if he could knock down the open shot. He knocked it down tonight.
Does that change the way you defend him maybe on Wednesday nights?
I think so. I mean, we'll have to see. We have practice tomorrow. We'll see how we counter everything again.
You had a 17-5 run the second quarter that really got you guys back in the ball game. What was key there that you'd like to see repeated on Wednesday?
Kind of took the ball to the basket, got to the free throw line. You know, we were being aggressive, and like I said, it got us back in the game. But like I said, I'll take the blame for this loss. You know, I didn't do much of anything, so you know, I'll take it.
How do you think you guys handled the crowd and the atmosphere at the start of this ball game?
It was good. You know, it might have been overwhelming for some, but.
Mike, thank you. Pretty much says it all. Guys, we'll go back to you in the studio.
Oh, there you go. A tough one for Mike Bibby right there. But he was taking the blame like a veteran, a point guard, saying, look, it's all on me, even though you made some good points.
Yeah, I mean, you can only stand there and ask him, in all fairness to Mike Bibby, we can only stand there and ask him, you know, what else did you not do well? You know, you don't want to pound it in his head, and I'm sure he wants to get it out of his head. Like he said, they're going to practice tomorrow. They'll try to make the adjustment. The key for their team, honestly, and again, it doesn't mean they're going to beat the Celtics even one game, energy. They did not have the energy tonight. Mike Bibby didn't create the energy for his team, but also his teammates didn't help him either, getting him involved and him helping, you know, them. Everyone create that energy, and I have to put that back on the coaching staff. You have to understand what your players bring to the table. Yes, you haven't been to the playoffs in 9 years, but once you get into an arena like this, you have to understand what you have to do on any given night.
All right, let's check out the TD Bank North post-game stats. TD Bank North, the official bank of the Boston Celtics. Celtics shooting just under 47% from the floor, and the Hawks had trouble in that regard. Hence the 23-point loss. 3-pointers tonight. Celtics were on fire, and rebound, slight advantage to Atlanta, and the assists 22-16. Rondo dishing the ball, doing a great job for the Celtics. I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of candidates for the Tommy Award tonight. Guys?
All right, guys, thanks very much. A 1-0 lead for the Celtics right now in the playoffs. Let's find out who won the first postseason Tommy Award.
Well, there was a key matchup that everybody seems to think is going to be the deciding factor in this playoffs between Bibby and Rajon Rondo. And Rajon really did some amazing work tonight. He created the pace of the game and really allowed people to score easy baskets and really came up with some really nice offense himself. So Rajon Rondo wins the Tommy Award, the first one of the playoffs.
And those of you who chose Rondo as tonight's Tommy Award winner get 5,000 points. Log on to ComcastSportsNet.com. Make your selection every game. Get points, get stuff as a sports nut on ComcastSportsNet.com. One down, many to go. We'll see you back here on Wednesday night in Game 2.
Guys, thanks a lot. Just the beginning for the Celtics. How do the C's stay focused? Because it's obvious that the Hawks are greatly overmatched here.
Well, you look at the things that you gave up. You gave up 16 offensive rebounds. You have to do a better job, and then you continue to emphasize that the thing we just talked about, the energy of the Hawks. You find a way to dampen that and keep that down. Obviously, you make big plays. Rondo, Leon Poe, those guys, Kevin Garnett, getting guys involved and keeping the crowd involved, so important. And people think that all you have to do is go out, play, take care of home court advantage. You play well. The crowd is huge when it comes to playing at home in the playoffs.
Yeah, especially in that second quarter when the Celtics get sloppy, the crowd sort of faded a little bit. But even when Atlanta was within 2, honestly, you thought, come on, this isn't going to last. And it didn't. Celtics win at 104-81 over the Hawks. They're up 1-0 in the series. Again, Game 2 on Wednesday here on Comcast Sportsnet. KG 16-10, Rondo 15-9-6. We'll take you around the NBA coming up next.
Hi, guys. What's in the shopping bags?
We're picking out fixtures for our new kitchen.
New kitchen?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, glad I'm not paying for that.
Actually.
You after that dunk?
No, I told him, like, I told him at first I thought that he was going to help me up.
Yeah.
But he pushed me back down on the ground and then gave me like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Roy Jones punches to the chest. But I just know, he was happy. He was excited. And that's how, and having fun out there. And that's how you got to be, man. You can't be all uptight. And I love him for a teammate.
His lips are moving faster than his hands here. What's he saying to you? Do you have any, or are you like,
well, you can put it in words, but you got to slow it down a little bit. But all you got to do is just be like, yeah, okay, KG. Just say okay.
Did you think of punching him back?
Huh?
Did you think of punching him back?
No, I slap him upside the head, though. Well, it's all love. It's all love.
Any punches from Sam land in that, or was that all Kevin?
I think Sam might have snuck 2 in there on the under. I didn't know. I think he snuck about 2 in there.
Has he been around on the team long enough to be punching you?
Oh, yeah, man. Sam's a very cool guy, man. And, he just brings excitement, fun, and funny to be around. And, man, just happy to have him as a teammate.
I mean, Leon was laughing right there, but when KG was looking down at him, he looked like he was scared to death.
Yeah, I thought he was going to help him up, too. But he didn't. He just kept punching him, and then he helps him up, and then he's continuing to yell in his ear. That's when I thought Leon wanted to laugh. Like, okay, I can understand a thing you're saying. I'm just going to keep walking and keep the grimace on my face like I know what you're saying.
Help me out here, because, I'm old. Me and the kids today, I don't get it. But if you do well, you get hit.
Yeah, that's how it works.
That's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you never hit me. Yet. All right, let's check out the NBA scores. How about this? Philadelphia upsetting Detroit today, 90-86. Lakers, Pau Gasol was tremendous over Denver, who they don't know how to play defense. And Orlando, Dwight Howard was a man, 114-100 over Toronto. Let's talk about the Sixers upset. Sixers were down by 15 with 30 seconds to go in the third quarter, and they just outplayed Detroit at the Palace.
Yes, it's simple. A sense of urgency, Detroit, absolutely none. I really think that watching this game, that they just said all we have to do is show up and we can beat Philly. But Philly plays hard. I mean, when you have a guy, Reggie Evans, who is undersized at 6'8", 235 pounds, leads everyone in rebounding, 14 rebounds. Andre Miller can get to wherever he wants to, and there's a shot of my guy, Kevin Ollie. They are rolling. I mean, I love the fact that the way this team finished the season, they're taking that into the playoffs, and they're another team that has a lot to prove. Everyone's counting them out. Let's go in and let's beat Detroit. They're just taking back home court advantage, and that series could go 7 games very easily.
I mean, it's very interesting to watch this L.A. Laker team because with Pau Gasol, they are a different club. He makes Lamar Odom better. He makes the team credible without Kobe Bryant. Kobe did not shoot well at the beginning of this game, but they got options. And, Donnie, they move well without the ball.
Well, this is simple to me also, Gary. You have Pau Gasol, who, in a day and age of guys making millions and millions and millions of dollars, Pau Gasol is a great second star. He's a great secondary star. He's playing with less pressure. Kobe's the man. You let him do his thing. You just fill in where he needs you. They are incredible. Denver, obviously, their defense is very porous. You could do anything you want against Denver. They talk a lot, but they don't deliver, and I think L.A. is going to have no problem, and they could probably sweep that series.
36-16 for Pau, and one of the interesting things is the Celtics have not played him with the Lakers. That's the great unknown here, which would make a tremendous final.
Yeah, well, you know what, just the names alone would make a great final. Boston versus Los Angeles. But you're right, Pau Gasol now really changes the outlook and the complex of that team, or the complexion of that team, because if they bring Bynum back If he gets back and they're healthy, now you have two big guys you have to deal with. But, you know, they have some guys who can match up against the Celtics. But there's still a lot of games to play before then, but it's nice to speculate.
Well, Dallas is having trouble again. No surprise here, though, really. I mean, New Orleans rallied. They came back, led by Chris Paul, and they win at 104-92 yesterday.
This is all, in my mind, about the point guards, starting with Chris Paul, who, you know, fantastic. We talk about Rondo tonight doing a great job first playoffs, but Chris Paul, I mean, he really is making a huge bid for All-Star or MVP of the year. And then you have Jason Kidd, who they expect him to do. They really expect him to deliver a championship, but 1 rebound and 2 assists short of a triple-double. I think he did his job. And then Avery Johnson, the other point guard, a lot of pressure on him to get out of this first round.
All right, quickly about Orlando. They won at 114 and 100 over Toronto. They're your pick to click for the Eastern Conference Finals.
No one can guard Dwight Howard. He is a beast. When he is on the glass and he's blocking shots, it is hard to stop him. Turkoglu knocking down shots from the outside. They are going to be a tough team to get past.
25 points, 22 rebounds, 5 blocks, 9 for 11 from the free throw line for Dwight Howard. If he makes foul shots, they are tough. Celtics Hawks game 2. Wednesday at 8 o'clock right here on Comcast Sportsnet. GMC Truck Celtics pregame live at 7:30. Celtics win it tonight. And once again, they have the advantage as they win game number 1 against the Hawks. All right, some thoughts right now. Next couple of days, what do the C's do?
You know what, I think it's simple. You work on getting Ray Allen involved in ways where he doesn't have to work as hard. You get Paul Pierce some looks in the post, 4 for 10. Yes, he shot the ball 3 for 5 from three-point range, but get him some easier looks. Continue to let KG do what he does. On the other side, if you're the Hawks, Mike Bibby, like he said, he has to be more aggressive. Josh Smith has to play his game, can't shoot jump shots. I mean, and the Celtics have to dampen the energy of the young Hawks because they're out there playing, you know, they're out there playing with nothing to lose, the Hawks.
Any chance of 1 win for Atlanta?
Not a chance. They could play their best game and the Celtics not play well at all, and the Celtics are still that. They're just so dominant when you compare them to the Hawks.
Well, there's so many options. You know, if KG has an off night, then you go to Paul, and Paul goes to Ray, and then Sam.
But it's the bench, Gary. I've said this. I've harped on it. The teams with the benches who come through, they win championships.
Get that right, Donnie Marshall. Celtics win it by 23 tonight over the Atlanta Hawks. 104-81, the final. Everybody doing the job for the C's. Thanks for watching. See you Wednesday for Game 2.
Welcome back inside the TD Bank North Garden, everybody, as the second half of the playoffs are about to begin. The second half, I should say, of the first game of the playoffs about to begin. The Celtics up 49-40. I'm Mike Gorman, along with Bob Cousy and Tom Heinsohn. Tommy, first, your thoughts on that first half?
Well, I think the Celtics got off to a terrific start and then squandered the momentum. They lost the fluidity of what they were doing, and they were moving the ball very effectively in the first part of the first quarter. And then when the second unit came in, things kind of broke down. The Hawks right now, I think, are there for the taking if you just play smart basketball.
Who's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll tell you, if I'm Doc Rivers looking at the stat sheet, I'm a little worried, Michael. Atlanta, as Tommy said, after a slow start, got it back together. They're pretty much even in every category. The Atlanta defense took Celtics out of their offense in the second quarter. Conversely, their offense started going to the basket. They got perimeter, and they're back to shooting at 42, which is what the Celtics are shooting at. So I think there's reason for concern, Michael.
Celtic fans, now is the time to reserve your luxury suite for the much-anticipated 2008 postseason, which is getting underway here tonight. A very limited amount of suites are available now for all potential home playoff games. This is a great opportunity to entertain clients, reward your employees, or just to enjoy these exciting games with family and friends. All luxury suites come with a private living room, plasma TVs, and a variety of catering options. To reserve your playoff suite today, call 866-4CELTIX or visit Celtics.com. Let's check in with Greg, see what the coaches had to say.
Well, a few things. Celtics coaches not saying that the C's are taking the ball aggressively enough to the basket, that they're in a way getting intimidated by the shot blockers of the Atlanta Hawks. And as Tom Thibodeau was telling me, it's kind of screwing them all up defensively, because then it's allowing the Hawks to get out and run, and they're beating them down the floor in transition. Half-court defensive problem. Al Horford catching the ball way too easy down in the low block. And Tom also saying to me, when he does do that and when he he does get the good position, we have to do a much better job of sliding our guys over and getting help. And one more thing on the offensive end, they knew that they had issues with Kevin Garnett getting into foul trouble, so they do want to see him get the ball more down the low block. But as Tom said to me, hey, it's the playoffs. You have to get the ball down on the low block. Look for them to attack Paul Pierce a little bit more on the offensive end down low.
Let's take a look at our halftime stats while we have the chance. They're brought to you by Ace Ticket for Boston's best seats. Call aceticket.com at 1-800-MY-SEATS. 5 3-point field goals by the Celtics. Might be a little bit of fool's gold right there. Second chance points, 7-4 in turnovers. Atlanta has 9 of them, but the Celtics have managed only 8 points off those turnovers.
Our friend Bill Russell used to say that experience doesn't mean squat, a little more colorfully, but Johnson gives us the stat that in terms of experience, 9 Celtics have 388 playoff games under their belt. Atlanta has 66 games amongst 2. So let's see how much that means.
Well, they open up with a 3-foot behind the arc 3-point shot by Joe Johnson.
Woodson can't be happy with that.
Ray Allen has his pass picked off by Joe Johnson. Horford's ahead on the break. They find him. He throws it up to Smith, but throws it too far. And Rondo is going to be called for the foul, grabbing Smith from behind.
Yeah, he didn't let him jump. I guess they went high lob, and Rondo gave him a hug.
That's the first personal on Rajon. Horford, Bibby, Johnson, Smith, and Williams are on the floor. Double team on Johnson, picked off by Ray Allen. Bounces off Bibby, gets across half court.
Allen will over dribble occasionally, and he's got a high one going from time to time, which they can get to.
Well, they're doubling down on
Perk. The foul.
Good play. That's the guy that may be able to get to the hoop is Ray Allen. And Perk inside on the board it's absolutely necessary.
Smith, big offensive rebound, loses the handle, tracks it down. Bibby tries again from the same spot, misses the exact same way off the back rim. Johnson for a third opportunity. Johnson, Williams, rebound Perkins.
Well, C's get lucky there. I'll tell you, they got clobbered on that defensive board. Let them produce 3 shots, and they came away with zip.
Just the third rebound of the game for Perk. KG kicks it out. Pierce finds Allen, Rondo. And Kevin Garnett lost a shoe, and Celtics will take a 20-second timeout. Get him geared up again.
Well, Ray Allen goes to the hoop here. Now watch this as they leave Perk alone, and that's what you want to do with that guy. If they're going to start blocking shots, get it up on the glass and let one of the big guys go after it. You don't necessarily have to make the shot yourself. Either that or take it there, show them the ball, and find Perk. And the Celtics have been doing a lot of that all season long. We haven't seen one of those plays tonight. Show it to their big guys and find our big guy for a slammer.
Tonight's official league leaders are brought to you by TD Bank North, the official bank of the Boston Celtics. No better time than the beginning of the NBA championships to total up who has the most championships, since the Celtics with 16, the Lakers with 14, the Bulls with 6. The Bulls are at home watching. Celtics and Lakers will try to add to those totals. Lakers won their first game against Denver this afternoon. Orlando, fairly easy winner over Toronto also earlier today, and Philly upsetting Detroit. Last playoff game of the day underway here in Boston. Ray Allen taking it to the basket, and he's going to get himself to the free throw line.
That's what you want to do, what Ray just did. And he's the guy that can get to the hoop, because I don't think Joe Johnson is really, well, it ends up that Bibby picked him up. And there's Horford. So Ray will get to the line for 2.
Yeah, good job. Horford was in the circle, so he just ran him over.
Ray Allen, one of 3 Celtics to have shot 90% from the free throw line for a season. You can see his career playoff numbers, which are outstanding.
Only Larry Bird and Bill Sharman before Ray Allen had 90% years at the line.
He's extending the defensive pressure.
Bibby gets it across.
Yeah, and there's 17 seconds now, 15 seconds.
Smith. Horford. Oh, good slap back.
Well, they came in 7th in the league on that offensive board. Seas have done a good job. They'd only had 3 in the first half, and the Seas picked up about 6, so they're heading at the top.
Over the top to KG. Well done.
Good angle that time to get it to KG.
Johnson. Celtics like to see Smith taking that shot, but they don't want to see Johnson getting easy offensive boards like that. Leads 11 with 9 to go in the third.
Well, that's what happens with these rotating defenses. The weak side guys can come in and can kill you on the offensive glass. And that's what happened exactly that time.
Pierce's pass a little behind Allen. Pierce again has Bibby on him. Shoots over him. And the loose ball is going to be, Williams trying to save it. Stepped out of bounds at the back Boston's way.
I tell you, never be a hero on an inbounds pass, especially if it's gone off the other guys. Here's the high lob, the nice lead by Rondo. Takes him right to the basket. Good job.
Well, they got Joe Johnson playing Rondo, so he can be physical with him.
Ray Allen gets tripped down on the baseline. Foul is going to be on Horford.
Yep.
That's a third on Horford.
Well, that's the guy. Now, Bibby's defending him. And Joe Johnson, they've switched assignments. Joe Johnson has got Rondo, so they're trying to take Rondo's penetration game away from him. In the meantime, Ray Allen is going to head to the hoop.
Seven on the shot clock. KG gets two.
Such that the mismatch and beautifully executed.
Good patience on the part of the Seas.
6 of 12 shooting for Garnett. Loose ball makes its way to Smith. Williams trying to lay it down. Picked off inside by Rondo.
Yeah, Pert really created the problem.
Good job by Rondo pushing it up quickly, finding the shooter in the corner.
Celtics are 6 of 8 shooting the three. And the lead is up to 16. 16 now at 7:47 to go in the third quarter. Tuesday at 7:30 on Celtics Now Playoff Edition. We check out the playoff prep for the Green as they get ready to capture an NBA title. And speaking of titles, we show you the friendly free throw competition between the big three. Celtics Now Playoff Edition, Tuesday at 7:30 only on Comcast Sports Play. Let's take a look at tonight's steal of the game, brought to you by IdentityTruth.com. Early detection, your best protection against identity theft, IdentityTruth.com.
Well, they really jam up the penetration. Rondo comes away with it, and look at the hard push, and there's Ray on the wing, and a catch, and up he went for the three.
Celtics stay with Garnett, Rondo, Allen, Pierce, and Perkins. It is Horford, Smith, Bibby, Williams, and Johnson.
And again, the extended defensive pickup on the part of the Seas, looking for an early trap.
Horford sends it back out to Bibby, and they begin their possession with 12 in the shot clock. Deflected by Rondo, but it made its way to Horford. Smith for two.
Well, he worked hard. Garnett and Perkins were there. Made a tough shot out of it. Still knocked it down.
Yeah. They were looking for a walk.
This is going to be a physical series before this is over, and I don't think it's going to be an easy one.
Ray Allen.
Yeah, as long as Bibby is going to play Ray Allen, work Ray Allen.
13 points now in the game for Ray. He and Pierce tied for scoring honors for Boston. 13 for Horford on the other side for Atlanta. Johnson gets to the basket, misses it, gets it back. Horford doesn't.
Nice play by Joe.
15 and 5 rebounds for the rookie Horford. Rondo finds Ray again for 3. Got it.
Ray Allen. It's beautiful when a shooter heats it up.
16 in the game now for Ray. 10 in the third quarter. Smith, Garnett took it away. Smith got it back. Smith just tried to run over Pierce.
Wow. Put the whistle away on that one.
Yeah.
It's the playoffs.
Now they switched assignments now. Bibby is back on Rondo, and Joe Johnson's got Ray Allen.
Now Smith has got him in a switch. Ray takes him in the lane for 2.
Well done. Allen breaking this game open.
18 now for Ray, the game's high scorer. 4 of 5 in the third quarter. That goes skipping out of bounds, and it's going to stay hot ball. Into the game comes Childress. Out goes Williams.
Here's the last couple by Ray Allen. Good penetration, under control, waits for the defender to tell him what to do, and then lost a nice soft one.
Zaza Pachulia is coming into the game, and Josh Smith will go out. Pretty quiet game for Smith. 2 for 8 from the floor, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. He does have 3 blocked shots. 17 minutes. He's really not in foul trouble. He's only got 2. Bibby for 3. Pachulia will pick up Garnett. Childress is on Allen. Back to KG. Horford there to help out. Inside Perk. Misses the hook shot.
All right, rested just a bit. Got the good position. Nice lay down by Garnett. Sees offense is cooking a little bit better here in the third.
Bibby with the fumble. Loses the dribble now. Goes
How
to
about 3
Pachulia.
seconds?
He's short. Childress just got dismissed in the rebounding action there.
He did a flop.
Could throw it down.
Good look by Allen.
Childress, nice play.
It was a pirouette 360 out of control, and yet still laid it in gently.
There's a lot of talking going on out there. Childress and Pierce are really yapping at each other.
Joe Johnson is in there in the paint.
Garnett misses the jumper. Rebound tracked down again by Horford. That's 7 rebounds in the game for Horford. Johnson. Nope. Rondo in the middle of it all. 5th rebound of the game for Rondo, and Doc immediately says, let's take a little time out here. 3 minutes, 52 seconds left to go. We're in the third quarter in Boston. And the Celtics have got a 14-point lead, 67-53.
Your emotions going into game 1, because when that situation comes, you're going to realize just how big the moment is.
Rondo finds Ray again for 3. Got it. 67-53. It's a 14-point lead. The Celtics have got it. We're in the third quarter. 3:52 left to play. Mike Gorman along with Tom Hudson, Bob Cousy, Greg Dickerson, all on hand tonight. Tonight's playoff update is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or head to your local Dodge dealer to see the newly enhanced models in our lineup. It's a new day. Dodge. Well, Philly leading that series. That's the biggest surprise here in the East. 1-0. Otherwise, the Siege prevailed. Cleveland over Washington yesterday. Orlando over Toronto earlier today. And the Celtics looking to go up 1-0 LA with the early lead. Utah beat Houston in Houston last night. San Antonio with that double overtime win in New Orleans, sending the message to Dallas that they're not going to go easy. Even though New Orleans is the #2 seed, a lot of people like Dallas in that matchup, but Chris Paul had a huge night last night. Speaking of good point guards, there's one right there. Rondo's got 9 points, 9 assists, and 5 rebounds. And that's our key matchup. And you can see not much there at the moment for Michael Bibby. And Bibby, when he's on a team that beats the Celtics, plays very well, shoots about 53%, averages 18 a game. In losses against the Celtics, only shoots 30% and averages 13 a game. He's much closer to that percentage tonight. He's 2 of 8.
Well, I got Bibby back defending on Rondo.
Rondo loses him. Childress went down, slipped. Garnett. Nope. Childress back up to get the rebound.
Not a ball movement, however. The C's are getting the shot they want, but it's still not going to be an easy night. These guys are going to hang in.
That's going to be a push on Joe Johnson in the rebounding action. Second foul on Johnson.
But if they were worried about Rondo being tentative in any manner, you know, in terms of inexperience, that's not the case at all. He's handled the show very, very well.
Perkins comes out, sets the screen. Bibby able to get by it, and then Horford gets a piece of Rondo, kicks it to the corner. KG. Pachulia with the slap, but it comes out to Allen. Let's get a fresh clock out of all that.
Ray has got Bibby.
Pierce misses a 3. Tipped by Perkins this time out of bounds. It'll be hot ball.
Well, with 3 minutes left in the third quarter, the good news is that none of the people in serious foul trouble on Ed or Perkins have picked up a 4th. Or Pierce, who had 2 at the half.
Bibby's out of the game, so Rondo's got Childress.
Problem for the Hawks is when they move Childress to point guard, they take one of their best baseline players out of the game. And Childress, who's very effective down along the baseline. Instead, they got him out on the top of the key. Hawks have this back to 12 again. Rondo long with that one. Childress finds Johnson. Johnson drives baseline. Blocked by Perkins.
Outstanding. Was that necessary? Get something good. What do you got? Let it develop. He had numbers. It didn't quite happen.
Rondo steps into another shot. Makes
that one on. Well done. Shot followed up the air ball with nothing but net. Good job.
Rondo could flirt with a triple-double here in his first playoff game. Rebound there to Perk. Rondo's got 11 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds to this point. Ray Allen in the paint. Rondo passes up the shot this time. Now crosses over and takes it. Makes it.
Boy, and they just respect his quickness. Childress backed off a half a mile.
Yeah, he can get the perimeter anytime he wants it there. We're all giving him.
5 of 8 shooting for Rondo. 16 the Boston lead again.
They're giving him 15-foot shots.
Childress full hanger doesn't go. Tips loose. Childress in a battle with KG.
They call a timeout.
20-second timeout, Atlanta. 42.2 left to go here, third quarter. 71-55 Celtics by 16. Tonight's Celtic game brought to you by Legal Safe Foods. Remember, if it isn't fresh, it isn't legal.
Take a look at Perk and what he means to this team. He's a physical presence underneath. Watch this. Out of nowhere comes the big guy. And let's take a look at Rondo. Look at Childress. He's so respecting his quickness and speed. He's backed off and just daring him to take the shot. And nice going, Rondo. He takes it.
Perk has only taken 2 shots in the game. He's got 3 points, 4 rebounds, and an assist in 17 minutes. The other 4 Celtic starters in double figures, led by Ray Allen with 18, 13 for Pierce, 12 for Garnett, 13 for Rondo. Let's check in with Greg.
Mike, this one is specifically for Tommy. Before the game, I was in the locker room talking to Leon. I said, Leon, I just talked to a few Hawks players who said they want to make this a physical game and a physical series. Well, his eyes got as wide as saucers, big ear-to-ear smile. He said, oh, I love physicalness. I hope they do that. I want them to do that because, you know, if they hit, I'll hit them right back.
Johnson, this baseline rebound controlled by Ray Allen.
Away in the third, which, as we were saying earlier, has kind of worked out for the Seas as well. Their big guys didn't pick up the foul.
The Celtics have got an 18-point lead at the end of 3. First round playoff series against the Atlanta Hawks. To this point, belongs to Rajon Rondo and the Boston Celtics. 15 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds for Rondo. And still a quarter to play. Boston leads at 73 to 55. That's going to be Atlanta ball. Rajon Rondo entered the third quarter with a 6-0 run all of his own.
Josh Smith is in there right now, and Leon's got him.
Williams trying to make a move on Posey, and Posey's going to be whistled for the foul.
I tell you, that was the same play as what happened with Rondo.
Let's check in with Greg.
Yeah, Mike, Doc Rivers pleading to his guys to finish the game off right now. He said, this right now, start of this quarter, is a huge stretch for us. Let's put them away. Let's finish this game off. And I love the sight of Kevin Garnett getting right into the face, nose to nose with Rajon Rondo and repeatedly telling him, this game's all about you. It's all about you, man. It's all about you.
Well, I agree completely with Doc. I'll tell you, this is an explosive team. You know, despite the lead, if the Seas let down at all in terms of focus or intensity,
well, they got
right back into the game.
They got Bibby playing. Is in the game right now, and he's playing Posey.
Nothing's happening offensively for the Seas right now.
Heck of a move.
That was.
I mean, it was a one-on-one move, but it was a heck of a move.
Take a look. He's looking to create an opening. The defender keeps falling off him, but despite that, he still squeezes through there.
Now, Leon will take it to the hoop with the best of them. And right now, this guy could turn the game around just by getting to the free throw line.
Well, Leon, in terms of free throw attempts per 48 minutes played,
probably has the most in the history of the league.
Well, he's 7th in the league. It's amazing. He's up there with guys like Dwight Howard and Stoudemire from Phoenix, LeBron, Kobe, Allen Iverson.
Well, he's got pretty good moves. He doesn't look like he has the moves, but yet, as we just saw, he demonstrates them, and he catches them by surprise, I think.
Had that big finish Wednesday against New Jersey. Johnson misses deep, rebound, batted around. Oh, look at Smith. He is so athletic. But
great job by Perk.
comes away with it.
I'll tell you, they're going to be hammering these boards.
Posey misses a three. The rebound comes all the way back to Sam Cassell. Fresh clock. He'll take his time.
Right now, I'd like to see Posey go down on the box against the little guy.
Celtics are very good at closing out teams when they have big leads. In fact, they're 43-0 this year when they've had a 16-point lead in the game.
Oh, that's terrible!
Leon Poe is whistled for that foul.
Number 5, Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett is back in the game. Perk is going to come out. So it's Bibby, Childress, Smith, Johnson, and Williams against Cassell, Allen, Garnett, Posey, and Poe. Childress got some contacts from Ray Allen on the way by.
This kid has some kind of moves. With his body, he creates contact about every time he penetrates. Although Johnson, I think, is the guy the Steelers are going to focus on in the next 10 minutes because he's going to look to take charge.
And this kid coming off the bench has always been a productive player.
Funny looking free throw. Here's the answer to tonight's Legal Seafood Trivia question. Who has the most assists in a playoff game against the Celtics? Any guess, Coos? He's in the building right now, I'll tell you that.
Against the Celtics.
Against the Celtics, and he's in the building.
Doc.
That's right.
That's it.
Doc Rivers, 22 assists. That was in the game, the shootout game. That was game 5 of that, 4 of that series, excuse me. Game 4 of that series against the Hawks that we talked about earlier. Doc with 22 assists. That's our Legal Seafood Trivia question.
Doc always tells us he was a shooter.
Yeah, and Josh Smith, they're going to eat him up alive if they don't help on Garnett, because Smith is not going to fight him for the spot, and Garnett's going to be able to turn to the hoop against him.
Bibby misses straight away. Garnett with the rebound.
Oh, not a good shot there by Bibby at all.
Just 2 for 10 in the game. Leon, nicely done.
I'll tell you, Leon gets up that floor, and they forget about him. How can you forget about my man Leon?
First field goal for Leon. A concerned Mike Woodson.
If you stop talking about it, it won't get their attention until this series is over.
Watch Leon here. He's wide open, beats everybody up the floor, and
pretty acrobatic.
Oh, he's got the moves. He has got the moves down there.
Johnson in traffic will get himself to the free throw line with 9:10 to go in the game. Celtics with their largest lead. It is 20.
Sam Cassell, his first personal 4th team foul. And Johnson has 2 shots.
Johnson knocks down the first. Into the game comes Horford. Out goes Williams. Joe Johnson has not really put up great numbers against the Celtics, averaging about 17 a game and 14 games against Boston, but only shooting 39%. Paul Pierce with 13 on the Boston bench. Garnett, 2. 16-7, the numbers for KG in his first playoff game as a Boston Celtic. Johnson goes down. And we're going to get ourselves a timeout. James Posey called for that foul. We're in the 4th quarter with 8:46 to go. Celtics by 20.
Josh Smith, it's Horford right now, but they do not have anybody to keep Garnett from really turning to the middle. They got to beef up on Garnett, and nobody on that team is beefy enough. Pachulia might do it, but he's not quick enough. So Garnett, I don't think needs to take a single fall away. He can turn to the hoop.
Cassell, Pierce, Garnett, Posey for Boston. KG. Little dream shake on the baseline, doesn't go. Pierce with the offensive board on the weak side, and Cassell would use a little clock here. Atlanta down to 27% this second half. Good look is right.
The second, the cutter's man ready to help double on Garnett, and Garnett called for the ball for that very reason.
Fourth assist for Garnett in the game. Smith baseline jumper goes down.
He added that shot to his game last season. He's just still a young player, so he's going to be really great.
3 for 10 in the game tonight. Cassell gets to the bucket. Good block by Smith coming through, but the Celtics are there for the foul. Leon Poe.
Waste management right there again.
5 points in the game for Leon. That's 2 for 5 shooting. Second chance points. The Celtics now with 15. Johnson, the 3.
Johnson for 3.
84-66. Celtics better than 50% from beyond the arc. Cassell helps that total. Well done. 8 of 14 now.
They're dropping below the pick for Sam. Sam will have that shot anytime he wants it.
The Atlanta defense has leveled off a bit. They don't quite have the intensity they had in the second quarter.
Well, they don't have much of a bench, so they played a lot of minutes in that first half.
Leon Poe with that foul.
Here's a KG play a moment ago. Watch, see, he lets the cutter go, holds it an extra second, so the defender assumes he's not going to make the play to Posey. Nice job.
Yeah, but you see Childress look back. The previous time they ran that play, Childress stayed with the cutter and then went back for the double. And that's why Garnett wanted it back. That is one of those adjustments in the playoffs you must make during the course of a game. That's not timeout stuff. That's an adjustment in the course of the game that veteran players can call out and execute.
Six and a half to play. Celtics looking for KG again. Posey goes through again. Double comes from Childress. They swing it to Sam. Posey in the corner. Garnett the offensive board. Back to Posey. 3 fakes. And he'll get to the free throw line.
Nicely done. Garnett with the offensive board. Laid it down. Take a peek. Posey, Jay from the corner. Garnett comes over the top, and then again, he's always looking. It's so helpful when you're a big person, not only looks but can make the play. Garnett can do both.
8 different Celtics have an offensive rebound in this game. Posey knocks that down. Tonight's bonus code is brought to you by IdentityTruth.com. Early detection, your best protection against identity theft. IdentityTruth.com.
Well, it's interesting that in this ball game so far, Eddie House has really played the third point guard role, and Sam has played the second point guard role. And Sam has been effective.
Yeah, the combination of Rondo Cassell has done extremely well. They've complemented each other well.
25 points, 10 assists between the two of them. Pierce to Poe.
Yes. I think that gets the attention.
Don't hurt him! Don't hurt him!
Oh, that's great stuff. Great stuff. That's what builds chemistry. Look at this. Look at Garnett in his face.
Leon with the flush. KG with the support. 90-68 Boston. Leon Poe got 8 points now all in the fourth quarter. 91-68 Boston with their largest lead of the night. Bibby, strange kind of look in his face, almost like he's hurt. Bibby has got a problem with his left hand. The left thumb is the thumb that gave Bibby all those problems, and he seems to be favoring it. It seems to be hurting him right now. Joe Smith, no. Tap, no. Another one. And foul. Let's watch Bibby, though. Bibby is going back towards the bench.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know how many players these guys are away from having a, you know, one of the premier teams in the league, because they're relentless on that board. God, it is amazing how athletic and strong and they can be. So they need a little glue.
Bibby taking all that wrap off of his left thumb. That thing is pretty severely wrapped, and he's not happy. 5 points, 1 assist in the game for Bibby. Let's check in with Greg.
Mike, Josh Smith, who just checked out of the ball game, raised some eyebrows last weekend when he reportedly said we would shock the world. He told me I was misquoted. I definitely didn't say that. What I said was, if we do what it takes night in and night out, we have to play a perfect game to shock the world. His world was shocked last night. Had an allergic reaction to something that he ate, and he said he spent all night last night itching like crazy. He said every part of his body, his knees, his elbow, his chest, his face, just 3 of 10 tonight. The culprit, guys, wings. He said, I asked for ranch dressing, but what I got, it definitely wasn't ranch dressing.
Traveling violation, that is.
I tell you, the man right in front of the play just waved it off, and the guy. Wow.
Horford gives it up to Pachulia. Under 5 minutes now to go in the game. Williams comes up short, loose ball. Horford comes up with it again and puts it down.
Well, they got 3 guys underneath the boards all the time, and if you come back with 5 guys rebounding against them, you will be able to really push the ball up the floor. But 3 guys cannot stand on a perimeter. Everybody's got to get back on the defensive board.
20 and 10, the numbers for Horford in his first playoff game. Paul Pierce on a late whistle will get to the line.
Cassell going out, having done a good job, as we've told you.
Yeah, they're going to give Eddie some minutes at the point guard spot. Rondo did an outstanding job.
Doc's going to get out of the way here tonight with short minutes. Rondo 28, Pierce 32, Garnett 33.
Well, this Atlanta team does not have a big bench, so their first 6 guys are going to play a lot of strenuous minutes. What's the minutes now for
41 for Johnson?
Yep.
34 for Bibby, 38 for Horford, 33 for Childress off the bench. Smith a short night, 24. Good update by Greg there. Probably is the reason why he only played 24 minutes. Ray Allen on the Boston bench, 34 minutes. Ray always seems to play the most minutes of the big 3. Tonight's Celtic game brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. You're now free to be more productive. Visit southwest.com today. Talk a little conversation with Steve Jarvie out in front of us. Steve Jarvie, probably the premier NBA official. KG back in. Here's a look at Steve. Numbers for Pierce. What do you do, guys, if you're the Hawks? You got any other answers here? You get back to the drawing board?
In this game, you don't, you don't do anything. Obviously, it's over. But,
you do for game two.
Well, Posey, wonderful. He's always denying outlets, so he's always in position to come up with that steal, and you don't expect a guy his size to have that kind of quickness. Well done. They're limited, as Tommy said. They don't have that kind of depth, but I still see them as a threat. I don't see it as a 4-0 situation at all.
But Davis is going to see his first playoff action here in a moment. Glenn getting himself tied up, laced up, ready to go.
Well, here's Pierce putting his head down. Sees the alley, and that was the bang by Williams. Williams had been trying to force Pierce to his left. Pierce made that move to his left, and then Williams banged him.
Kevin Garnett, one down, bunch to go.
Well-deserved standing O from the sellout crowd.
Hawks in the last 32 games this year had averaged 103 points per game as the chant of MVP goes on in the background for Kevin Garnett. The Hawks had averaged 103 points a game in their last 32 games. They've got 73 here with 3:26 to go. Shooting 37% for the game.
Well, we talked on top, about, especially in the playoffs, Michael, that the defensive skills can be relied on. They take you to the promised land. Offense is you can't be sure of it. It's not consistent enough, even if you're a great shooting team. But you can control the defensive factor. You can't control the offensive factor, and that's what the Celtics are showing tonight. Good consistency in their defensive game.
Well, there's so many matchups the Celtics can take advantage of, and one of the things that Woodson tried to do is swap off, and Rondo has caused a problem for Bibby, so they switched Bibby off to Ray Allen, and immediately the Celtics jumped all over that maneuver, and they tried different people on Garnett, and nobody was able to really do a number on Kevin. So, and Pierce has really been playing right within the system and has been very effective.
Glenn Davis. Rebound Childress. Trying to go inside to Pachulia, and a foul is called, and that's going to get us a timeout. Just under 3 minutes to go in the first playoff game of this series, and the Celtics are very much in control, up by 21.
Thanks to the Celtics basketball on Comcast Sports Network.
One in the Celtics in charge, 96-75. Let's take a look at the Speedy Oil Change of the game. Brought to you by Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your certified auto service center in Boston. If they're going to hang a number 17, it'll be the defense that does it, and the defense, the difference in this game tonight. 37% shooting for the Hawks. Again, a team that averaged 103 points a game over their last 32 games of the season. They've got 75 here with 2 minutes and 56 seconds to go, and they trail by 21. That's our Speedy Oil Change of the game, brought to you by Speedy Oil Change and Tune Up, your certified auto service center. So do either of you guys look for anything different out of Mike Woodson and his Atlanta club on Wednesday night, or they just try to come back and do it again?
The only thing I think they could do is press a little bit to change the tempo of the game, but they don't have enough depth to do that. So that's one of the things I would consider doing, to get up and press, or really make one Celtic beat you. Play everybody tight and make one Celtic have to really deliver the goods. And but there's so many matchups the Celtics can take advantage of it. And they were very alert as to which one would be the most productive. And they utilized them to perfection.
Well, they played their best ball in the second quarter when they played good, tough, extended defense, pretty much control the backboard. And then, as I say, just attack the basket every time, just went inside. That's where their strength is. It's too late now in the season to make major adjustment. The one I'm disappointed in, I hadn't seen Bibby in a couple of years. And tonight, for whatever reason, whether the thumb, he was just a shell of himself. If he has what I would consider a normal game, obviously it's got a 20-point differential.
He's not been able to really be productive for this team when the Celtics have played him. In fact, the last time they played him, and it was lights out for Bibby. So I don't know if Bibby's running out of gas, but or his fingers hurt. But the guy, Josh Smith, is the guy that really could propel this team. And maybe he was allergic to something, as Mike said. But he was not able to play his normal game, and he has not played his normal game against the Celtics in any of the games I've seen.
Well, Dick Johnson gives us a stat that it's the first time in 52 playoff games that Bibby has had less than 2 assists. Obviously, if your point guard is not able to create situations, especially with this kind of big athletic strength that they've got going.
Nice play.
Will affect your offense.
Yeah, nice play there by Big Baby. I took him to dinner last week.
Yeah, I saw it.
Leon and Big Baby.
You picked up that check, did you?
No, I did.
Leon Cole.
Oh, Leon liked that celebration in the last dunk. He has to do it again.
Leon's got some moves, baby.
Celtics with 6 players in double figures now. Leon and Cassell both off the bench with 10 apiece. Jones throws it to the corner. Richardson knocks down a jump.
Now's the time to just run it down. Ice it. Don't look for up there. Nose in it too much. You've got the job done. It's been a good night, a good opener. And don't upset him any more than you have to.
Eddie House knocks down a 3. 27, the Boston lead, the largest of the game. The Celtics 9 for 16 from beyond the arc in this game. Don't forget to stick around for the New England Ford Dealers Celtics postgame live. Gary and Donnie will be back in the studio. Doc's press conference, player interviews, Tommy Award, all coming up on the New England Ford Dealers Celtics postgame live. Final minute here. Boston's going to take a 1-love lead in this playoff series, winning easily here tonight. Tracked down by Law. I think that's Stoudemire, and then he dribbles it out of bounds. We'll be with you on Wednesday night as the playoffs continue here.